And here it is, we go again. Pardon me. Here it is, we go again. Roll up, ladies and gentlemen. Let me start again. Roll up, ladies and gentlemen. One man went to more. Here it is, we go again. Here I am again as I try to adjust my glasses. I hope you are there with me. The session has commenced and your company is required. That thing that happens round about this time happening exactly at this time. So gather, come, let's spend however long. It's a short session, as you know. The afternoon slot are usually round about 2 hours. That's where we try to cap it. It spills over in some instances, but it's roughly a 2-hour session. So if the next 2 hours or so you have it available, then avail yourself of what is going on here. It's going to be explosive, it's going to be controversial, but hopefully you take a learning from it by the end of the session. One man went to mow, the eagle has landed.
Another Savior,
holy, 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 Adimebujuku. Another Savior, holy, 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 Adimebujuku.
Well, this is Mobien. This is dedicated to the gallant heroes of the Nigerian Biafra War and IPO families all over the world. I remember the Nigerian Biafran War, in the thickness of the Biafra genocide. Hey, one man revived the vanishing hope to life. Let the great Biafran army to fight, and they were singing out, holy, 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 is another Savior. They were singing out, holy, 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 is another Savior. Holy, 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 is another Savior. Many years after the genocide, whoa, yet another great leader has risen up now. Oh, and he's leading the Biafrans to victory. Inyamadika yabika kwa namno. Hey, anamekele maduche mefo. Manemo, it's an honor having you on board. When I'm singing along, holy, 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 Nandekano is another Savior. Sing along, holy, 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 Nandekano is another Savior. When I sing along, holy, 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 is another Savior. Getting it right and getting it fast now. Holy, 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 is another Savior. Holy, holy, getting it right, fast, never freedom. Is another Savior. Yeah, for freedom. Holy, 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 Nandekano is another Savior. Another Savior,
holy, 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 Adimebujuku. Another Savior, holy, 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 Adimebujuku.
Well, this is Mobien. This is dedicated to the gallant heroes of the Nigerian Biafra War and IPO families all over the world. I remember the Nigerian Biafran War, in the thickness of the Biafra genocide. Hey, one man revived the vanishing hope to life. Let the great Biafran army to fight, and they were singing out, holy, 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 is another Savior. They were singing out, holy, 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 is another Savior. Holy, 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 is another Savior. great leader has risen up now. Oh, and he's leading the Biafrans to victory. Inyamadika, yabika kwa namno. Hey, anamekele mazuche mefo.
And there it is right there, the holy, holy song from the eastern parts of Nigeria, the farmyard singers. Holy, holy, as guys, I bring you this. Aisha Yesufu Adenyoju says Peter Obi should be in Ekiti, not Egypt. So a lot of criticism about the decision of Peter Obi to go to Egypt in the throes of election and campaigning. So quite what propels him to go to Egypt. Of course, they're saying he's going to study the power sector, and a lot of people see that somewhat as just a publicity stunt. Is that misguided though? Deji Adeyanju and Aisha Yesufu certainly thinks so. Aisha Yesufu Adeyanju says Peter Obi should be in Ekiti, not Egypt. So quite why they've made that statement, we'll find out shortly. SOWORE certainly concurs with that statement. 2023, SOWORE knocks Peter Obi's trip to study Egypt's power finance sectors. So you will say, of course, gather as much information as you can. And Egypt is somewhat an equal measure country to Nigeria, both in terms of a large population and the economic brackets that both countries occupy. But they seem to be succeeding more than Nigeria. So why shouldn't Peter Obi go and study their template to see what you can take from there to replicate in Nigeria? So that is an argument, but it is not one that SOWORE seems to be buying. 2023, SOWORE knocks Peter Obi's trip to study Egypt's power finance sectors. So quite why SOWORE is weighing against Peter Obi, we'll find out shortly. But Peter Obi claps back. 2023, Peter Obi's camp replies those mocking him for traveling to Egypt to learn how to fix education and power problems. So the argument is still around Peter Obi. Of course, anything he does generates a lot of attention. He, of course, now being a threat to subsisting politics, to the old guard politics. And that is why you see that every inch of his movement is monitored, scrutinized, and commented upon. But he, equal measure, stands on his feet. 2023, Peter Obi's camp replies those mocking him for traveling to Egypt to learn how to fix education power problems. So serve and volley there. So the serve and volley, we find out who takes that point. From that to this, WIKE allegedly buys PDP panel members, others with $5 million, promises 10,000 naira per vote in 2023 to clinch vice presidential ticket, emerge articles running mate. So just a couple of sessions ago, we were quite categorical, not because we knew anything, but because the news space told us categorically that OKOWA was going to be the pick. But a lot of people were not essentially convinced because they were not too sure what OKOWA will actually bring to a presidential ticket. WIKE, a lot of people feels that WIKE, a lot of people feel a better fit. WIKE himself feels that he is a better fit, and it looks as though he's willing to put his money or River State's money where his mouth is. WIKE allegedly buys PDP panel members, others with WIKE allegedly buys PDP panel members, others with $5 million, promises 10,000 naira per vote in 2023 to clinch vice presidential ticket, emerge articles running mate. So what played out there, we find out shortly. And still on the issues of running mate, Buhari rejects pressure to impose running mate on TINUBU. So that is the menu. So a rich and diverse equal mix menu. So lean back, kick back, take it easy, settle into it. The usual protocol, click on the like button, please. If you have no reason to not to click on the like button, then you have every reason to click on the like button. So if it doesn't offend you in any way to click on the like button, then you have every reason to click on it because that propels the platform. And if you are not already subscribed, as you are clicking on the like button, click on the subscribe button as well. That way you would have fulfilled all righteousness. And then if you want to come and join me on the screen to take on any of these talking points that I've highlighted, click on this hyperlink that I'm posting in the comment section now. So this hyperlink brings you to a studio space. And if you want to have a conversation around the talking points, click on that. And then as soon as I finish reading out the talking points, I'll let you onto the screen, and then I'll invite a conversation from you around the talking points. So that's the format. It's an open microphone session, and the open microphone is the hyperlink that says StreamYard. So click on like, that is compulsory. Click on subscribe if you haven't already, that's also compulsory. But at your discretion, click on the hyperlink that says StreamYard if you want to come join me on the screen. So that's optional. As you set about the clicking, let me provide you with a little bit of a liquid lubrication. Your calabash to the ready as we join WIKE, guys.
Water, only water, water, only water, where they see ma. Water, 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 water. Only water, where they see ma. Hapa o naido. Hapa you don't come o. Hapa o naido. Oro kẹ̀kẹ́ kẹ̀kẹ́ ẹlẹ́mù yé o. Ilé sọ́dí àkẹ́kẹ́ rẹ̀ ẹlẹ́mù rẹ̀ o. Bobby master kẹ̀kẹ́ rẹ̀ ẹlẹ́mù rẹ̀ o. Chifu Faila ti kẹ̀kẹ́ rẹ̀ ẹlẹ́mù rẹ̀ o. Eruku lẹ̀lẹ̀ ẹlẹ́mù dé. Eruku lẹ̀lẹ̀ ẹgbẹ́ ẹlẹ́mù dòde ojàre o. Eruku lẹ̀lẹ̀ Ghana ti dé ẹgbẹ́ bọ́dì o. Ọmọ ẹlẹ́yẹ ẹ̀yẹ ẹ̀yẹ o ó dilé o. Odúyẹ̀lá ẹ̀yẹ o ó dilé o. Petrosoname ẹ̀yẹ o ó dilé o. Petrosodúnkẹ́ ẹ̀yẹ rẹ̀ ó dilé o. Ẹlẹ́kọ̀ ọ̀run mú ìní o. Àkùkọ ọ̀run mẹ́kọ̀. Ikú kò ní ríwà gbéṣe o.
And there it is right there. Iku koniriwa gbeshe, may death have nothing to do with us. Iku koniriwa gbeshe, as guys, I bring you this. Aisha Yesufu Adenyoju say Peter Obi should be in Ekiti, not Egypt. Co-convener of the Bring Back Our Girls movement, Aisha Yesufu, and political activist Deji Adenyoju have ripped into Peter Obi. The Labour, sorry, I need to drink some water. Co-convener of Bring Back Our Girls movement, Aisha Yesufu, and political activist Deji Adenyoju have ripped into Peter Obi, the Labour Party presidential candidate, over his trip to Egypt. Obi's visit, which he described as part of his comparative study of economy, education, and others, came barely few days to Saturday's gubernatorial election in Ekiti State. Both political activists in separate tweets on Tuesday condemned the trip, adding that Obi was expected to be in Ekiti and coordinate the activities of their party ahead of Saturday's election. Their reaction were also in the wake of insinuations that some Labour Party members had been hijacked by the ruling All Progressive Congress APC ahead of the poll. Deji Adeyanju wrote, Peter Obi should be going to Ekiti, not Egypt. Election is happening on Saturday in Ekiti. Obi says he's going to Egypt to understand. Obi says he's going to Egypt to understudy. Pardon me. Pardon me. Let me come off the screen for a moment. I need to attend to something. I'll play you a little bit of music. Whilst just give me one moment. Listen to. Let me play you.
Another Savior.
Holy, 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 Adimebujuku. Another Savior.
Another Savior.
Holy, 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 Adimebujuku. Another Savior.
Well, this is Mobien. This is dedicated to the gallant heroes of the Nigerian Biafra War and IPO.
Right, apologies for that. Back to matters. So you know, sometimes life interrupts as you set about. So life interrupts as you set about. Should we take that from the top again? Co-convener of the Bring Back Our Girls movement, Aisha Yesufu, and political activist Deji Adeyanju have leaped into Peter Obi, the Labour Party presidential candidate, over his trip to Egypt. Obi's visit, which he described as part of his comparative study of economy, education, and others, came barely a few days to Saturday's gubernatorial election in Ekiti State. Both political activists, in separate tweets on Tuesday, condemned the trip, adding that Obi was expected to be in Ekiti and coordinate the activities of the party ahead of Saturday's election. Their reaction were also in the wake of insinuations that some Labour Party members had been hijacked by the ruling All Progressive Congress APC ahead of the polls. Adeyanju wrote, Peter Obi should be in Ekiti, not Egypt. Election is happening on Saturday in Ekiti. Obi says he's going to Egypt to understudy their system. Labour Party have a Guba candidate in Ekiti. This was how Kingsley Moghalu was all over the social media, but someone called Dumibi defeated him. On her part, Aisha Yesufu wrote, the journey ahead is not about romance. The fact that Labour Party in Ekiti is said to have collapsed its structure for APC, as some of you are gleefully sharing, is more reason Peter Obi should be in Ekiti salvaging that party and gathering those not in agreement with the collapse. For those of you saying, why should he be in Ekiti? I ask you, why not? A leader is there for others, fight for others, and listen to his people. A leader puts everything on the line for others, and that way, others put everything on the line for the leader. So there it is. So that is Aisha Yesufu and Deji Adeyanju. Now, say anything you like about Aisha Yesufu or Deji Adeyanju. You can certainly not accuse them of being anti-Peter Obi, because these are pro-change people. And this change, a lot of people find it in Peter Obi. So you cannot claim that Deji Adeyanju or Aisha Yesufu is for TINUBU or Buhari. You cannot claim that. More likely, and even by public pronouncements, they are for Peter Obi. So you have to take the criticism based on observations and a desire to redirect him to focus rather than ethnicize it. So take the criticism and leave the messenger, because these are not anti-Peter Obi people. But then, of course, we know how these things usually go, and almost certainly will go in that direction. Somebody that you might say has vested interest because he's in play for politics as well, also critical of that space. 2023, SOWORE knocks Peter Obi's trip to study Egypt's power finance sectors. Nigerian human rights activist and presidential candidate of the African Action Congress has faulted Labour Party presidential candidate Peter Obi's decision to study, amongst others, the Egyptian power sector, education, planning, and finance sectors. Peter Obi had on Tuesday embarked on the journey as part of his detailed study of comparable countries to Nigeria. He had said he will understudy the Egyptian power, education, and other sectors of their economy during his 3-day visit to Egypt. But reacting, SOWORE described Peter Obi as an unprepared presidential candidate. He wrote on Twitter, "Heard at Peter Obi traveled to Egypt to learn how to fix education/power problems." This is exactly the problem with unprepared candidates. It is 9 months to the election, and a 2-term governor and it is 9 months to the election, and a 2-term governor and former vice presidential candidate wants to go learn something from Egypt in 3 days. Wow, #we can't continue like this. So there it is, we can't continue like this. So you can dissect SOWORE's commentaries in 2 ways. Firstly, you look at the substance of what he has to say, and does it subsist as a standalone? But then you have to also add that SOWORE is a presidential aspirant too, and he is fighting for the new generation votes, which is the space that Peter Obi's politics is as well. So that colors somewhat his commentary, but does that dismiss categorically his commentary? That is a decision that you have to make. But Peter Obi, of course, defends himself. 2023, Peter Obi's camp replies those mocking him for traveling to Egypt to learn how to fix education, power problems, etc. Former Anambra governor and presidential flag bearer on the platform of the Labour Party, Peter Obi, has defended his 3-day trip to Egypt after he was heavily criticized for embarking on the journey. Correspondents earlier reported that the former Anambra state governor departed Nigeria for Egypt for a 3-day working visit. In a tweet via his verified Twitter handle on Tuesday, Obi said that the visit to Egypt is part of his detailed study of comparable countries to Nigeria. Obi had tweeted, "I just departed for Egypt on a 3-day visit as part of my detailed study of comparable countries to Nigeria. In Egypt, I am expected to understudy, amongst others, the Egyptian power sector, education, planning, and finance sectors," Peter Obi said. Reacting in a tweet on Tuesday is AAC presidential candidate SOWORE and political activist Deji Adeyanju, who mocked the former governor for traveling to Egypt to learn how to fix education and power problems in 3 days. Speaking about the development, Doyin Okukwe, Director General of the Peter Obi campaign organization, stated that the 3-day tour was already planned before the presidential primaries for political parties began. Okukwe, via his Facebook page on Tuesday, insisted that Obi's tour was a good one for the country's energy sector. He stated via Facebook, "Peter Obi's trip has been scheduled previously, even before the primaries. His mission primarily is to see the plants installed by Siemens, which doubled the generating capacity of Egypt in 4 years, to hold talks directly with the company on what will be feasible for Nigeria and at what cost." So it's all very, very well, and even an excellent idea to go and understudy successes and failures of comparable countries to Nigeria. But I think Siemens are already in Nigeria. There's already a deal-in situation. which was brokered, by the way, by Abba Kyari, not the police criminal, but the cabal member that died of COVID. So they already have a Nigerian contractual situation. So maybe that contract will be revisited, or maybe Peter Obi intends to change the contract, etc. I don't know. His mission primarily is to see the plants installed by Siemens, which doubles the generation capacity of Egypt in 4 years, to hold talks directly with the company on what will be feasible for Nigeria and at what cost. So, but our Siemens, of course, already in Nigeria have been for the past, at least we know under the Buhari administration, they came in early and they've been improving electricity generation, especially in the north, because of course Buhari wants to build his own country at the expense of the south. WIKE allegedly buys PDP panel members, others with 5 million naira, promises 10,000 naira per vote in 2023 to clinch vice presidential ticket, emerge Atiku's running mate. Rivers State Governor Yemson Wike has reportedly beaten Ifeanyi OKOWA, his Delta State counterpart, to the contest to emerge as the running mate to the presidential candidate of the People's Democratic Party, Atiku Abubakar. However, Wike allegedly bribed the PDP panel members and other members of the National Working Committee of the party with 5 million naira, that is 2.1 billion naira at the official exchange rate, to beat OKOWA. The party's National Advisory Committee had been given the task of picking the vice presidential candidate of the People's Democratic Party by the national chairman of the party, Senator Oyochia Ayu. The committee was chaired by the Deputy National Chairman North of the PDP, Ambassador Omar Ali Iliya, whilst its inauguration took place earlier on Tuesday, blah, 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 blah. Wike had 16 votes to OKOWA's 3 votes, making the Rivers State Governor the winner of the contest. So apparently they voted for it. But sources told correspondents on Tuesday that Wike doled out $5 million and promised to pay 10,000 naira for each vote cast for the party in the 2023 presidential elections. And by the way, look at that sum of money. He's going to pay 10,000 naira to the panelists who have gifted him. They've not gifted him, who have sold him the vice presidential slot. So he's giving them $5 million up front. Now he's promised to give them 10,000 naira each, but not 10,000 naira for each of them. For every vote cast for the PDP in the 2023 presidential election, it will give them 10,000 naira. So if there were 10 million votes cast, 20 million votes cast, each member will get 10,000 naira per vote times that 10 million, 20 million. So you can see what is in play. The panel was set up by the chairman and members of the NWC of the PDP to choose and recommend a running mate for Atiku Abubakar. The panel has recommended that Governor Wike should be appointed by Atiku Abubakar as his running mate. This is because of over $5 million that Governor Wike doled out to them, and he promised to use River State funds to buy 1 vote for 10,000 naira nationwide during the 2023 general elections, one of the sources alleged. And by the way, similarly to Abubakar Malami looking for where to park his immunity, Wike is also looking to park for where to park his immunity. Because in terms of corruption, I think only Abubakar Malami in the last 8 years has stolen more than Yemson Wike, who has just turned the whole state to personal property and is doling out money like it was going out of fashion. Bribe this, bribe that, $10 million to that one, $20 million to that one, all at the expense of River State. Another source who lamented that the PDP is desperate ahead of the next general election said, the question on the lips of every Nigerian is why are PDP and Governor WIKE very desperate to buy Nigeria off and return Nigeria to darker and worse ages and times. Atiku Abubakar will name Governor WIKE as his running mate anytime from now. It appears that Atiku Abubakar, PDP, NWC, and the panel members that nominated and recommended Governor WIKE to Atiku to be Atiku's running mate in a conspiracy together. Nigerians will surely reject the desperados in the 2023 presidential election. Some Southeasterners had hoped that the region would produce the running mate to Atiku after it lost out on producing the presidential candidate of the PDP or the ruling All Progressive Congress APC. So there's a good chance now, and it is almost there's a good chance now if Atiku goes for WIKE, which all the indications are that he will, but I don't want to state categorically because I've been burnt too many times stating categorically, and the direct opposite happens within the Nigerian political space. But all the indications show that Atiku is going to gift WIKE that WIKE has essentially won the vice presidential slot. So, because according to what they're saying here, he got 16 votes to OKOWA's 3 votes, which then gives him that space. So, if Atiku takes WIKE from the South as his running mate, and TINUBU takes a Northerner as his running mate, then the Southeast is essentially out of the political top table, unless Peter Obi, of course, becomes president, which there is a chance, which, however slim that chance is in contention. So, of course, there's always a chance. But really, if you look at real politics at its realest, devoid of the noise or hopes and aspirations or fanciful thinking, if politics as subsist, which is what often wins out, states that the next president is going to be either the PDP candidate or the APC candidate, then the Southeast is out of the political loop at the topmost at the topmost of the presidency. Atiku is a 77, 78-year-old man. So if he yara doers during his administration, WIKE becomes the president. TINUBU, we can see him falling apart physically and mentally before our very eyes. So if he yara doers during his tenure, whichever Northerner he has picked will be the next president. So do you see? So the political calculus does not at all favor the Southeast, except, of course, that golden card, which is Peter Obi. So Peter Obi for president. We go on then to the last readout, and then we come into the room to see who is available to take it on. Buhari rejects pressure to impose running mate on TINUBU. So this is somewhat surprising because he gave TINUBU the window to pick his running mate. And if it's quid pro quo, if TINUBU is saying that he gifted Buhari the ticket, Buhari can claim that by not influencing matters, he has gifted TINUBU the ticket back. So then, of course, by equal measure, then TINUBU should reciprocate by allowing the Aboki to choose his running mate. Buhari rejects pressure to impose running mate on TINUBU. President Muhammad Buhari will not impose a running mate on Asiwaju Bola TINUBU, presidential candidate of the ruling All Progressive Congress APC, even though he is not in support of the party parading a Muslim presidential ticket in the 2023 general elections. Correspondent Gaba. The party is expected to name its running mate, who is expected to be from the northern part of the country between today and Thursday. The Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, which has fixed June the 17th as the deadline for the submission of candidates for the 2023 elections, also said there will be no extension of the deadline. Correspondents had earlier reported that some members of the defunct Congress for Progressive Change, CPC, one of the legacy parties that merged to form the APC, are insisting that it is their turn to produce the running mate. Their argument was that when Buhari was elected as the APC presidential candidate in December 2014, the vice presidential slot was ceded to TINUBU's Action Congress of Nigeria. To this end, they recommended Abu. Oh my God. Listen to this. Oh my goodness me, we are dead if this happens. To this end, they recommended Abubakar Malami, the Attorney General of the Federation and Minister of Justice, Governor Nasir El-Rufai, and the Aviation Minister Hidi Sirika for the position. However, a presidency source who spoke with correspondents on Tuesday said just like in 2014 when he rejected the choice of TINUBU, a Muslim, as his running mate, the president still believes that a Muslim-Muslim ticket may spell doom for the APC, especially with the major opposition People's Democratic Party PDP parading a Muslim-Christian ticket. One thing is clear, the president can interfere as the leader of the party, but he won't impose a running mate on TINUBU just like he did during the presidential primaries where he was neutral. It is TINUBU that is seeking the presidency, and as such knows what is good for him and who will help him secure the needed votes to win the elections, the source said. The president on Wednesday held a closed-door meeting with APC governors at the presidential villa in Abuja as deliberations continue on the choice of running mate to Asiwaju Bola Tinubu, the party's presidential candidate. Already many prominent Nigerians, APC stakeholders and groups, especially the Christian Association of Nigeria and the Pentecostal Fellowship of Nigeria, PFN, have publicly condemned and started mobilizing their members against any party that parades a Muslim-Muslim ticket. The president still believes that just like in the 2015 presidential election, the APC fielding two Muslims as presidential and vice presidential candidates may not augur well for the party. The opposition might latch onto that to get the support of the Christian community, the source said. Those in support of Muslim-Muslim ticket in APC had claimed that the party does not have strong, popular Northern Christian candidates that can get votes in the region for the APC during the election. However, those against the idea have pushed forward names of Northern Christians, such as Governor Simon Lalong and the Secretary to the Government of the Federation, Boss Mustafa, and Yakubu Dogara, former Speaker of the House of Representatives. Speaking with correspondents, a party chieftain opposed to the Muslim-Muslim ticket said the APC has enough Christians in the north to field as TINUBU's running mate. Their argument that APC does not have strong northern Christians does not hold water. How popular was Oshibanjo when he was nominated and presented to Buhari as running mate in 2014? We have people like Governor Samuel Lalong of Plateau State, who is the chairman of the Northern Governors Forum. Is he not a popular party man? What about Boss Mustafa, the SGF, who is Adamawa State chairman of the Social Democratic Party as far back as 1990? What about Mustafa as TINUBU's running mate? The APC will win because he balances the ticket, and his nomination will give Christians a sense of belonging, and it will also make Northern Christians comfortable in their zone. A man like Mustafa brings a complementary experience, capacity, exposure, and maturity to the ticket. He would help to stabilize the administration from day one, he said. TINUBU is said to have penciled down former governor of Borno State, Senator Kashim Shettima, as his running mate, though that has not been confirmed. Also on Wednesday, the presidency said President Buhari takes his own decisions and carries them out without the backup of so-called cabals or backroom boys. The Senior Special Assistant to the President on Media and Publicity, Malam Garba Shehu, in a statement titled President Laudatory Role in the APC Primary, amidst report about the actions of people around the President during the period. The statement reads, the media are being inundated with made-up stories speculating about the role of the President in the flag bearer contest, whether he had a favored candidate and whether maneuvers were made to install them, whether the chosen flag bearer was the president's choice or another, and on and on. Speculations are easy, but facts are simple. The president always said he had a favored candidate. He said that candidate was whoever was chosen by the APC in a democratic primary to lead the party at the election. Those still assailing the APC and the president, expounding conspiracy theories and making all manners of speculations about who did what or did not need to understand. Those still assailing the APC and the president, expounding conspiracy theories and making all manner of speculations about who did what or did not need to understand the important point about the country's leader. President Buhari takes his own decisions and carries them out without the backup of so-called cabal or backroom boys. The strong leader myth in Nigeria has lasted far too long. People make assumptions that if you are a leader, you dominate everything and even determine electoral outcomes. Luckily for Nigerians, luckily for Nigeria, Buhari does not suffer from such constraints. So he refuses to act like as the elected autocrat. So somewhat a bit of a nonsense there that petered into nonsense. So there it is right there. So those are the talking points. And here at the talking heads, Meadowman, we see you. Hopefully your system is a bit calibrated this time around. We struggled to hear you the last time. Good to see you though. Exero, we see you. And the mighty Ajanle Koko, we see you. Good to have you all, gentlemen. So let's go to you then first, Exero, since you seem ready to go. What's the dancing for? What excites you so much? Peter Obi in Egypt then, eating tuwo coffee or whatever. A lot of criticism. Let's go straight to that Peter Obi space. You've been hearing the back and forth, and not just on this platform, but all over social media. What are you then making then of this backlash against Peter Obi's trip to Egypt? Meadowman.
Sorry, I'm at work, so you might be hearing some noise a little bit on the background, but I'm sure I'm clear enough.
Yeah, okay, carry on.
Okay, you see, for me, I would have thought that SOWORE should mind his campaign. I have equal love for SOWORE as I have for Peter Obi, and I think SOWORE is criticizing Peter Obi like he should be criticizing the president of the country. Peter Obi is merely an aspirant, just like SOWORE. These criticisms are meant for people who are already established authorities, like the people who are ruling the country. Then you can lay your criticisms and say, I don't expect this from my president. But if you are saying you don't expect this from a co-aspirant like yourself, when you are not even at the debates, it smacks of a bit of jealousy and a bit of you have seen the trend favoring this guy and you just want to cut down his momentum. But I have equal love for these guys, and I'm just saying it as it is. You can't cut down a momentum with criticism because the momentum is already on. Any kind of criticism, positive or negative, is good criticism. You understand? It's still going to favor Obi.
Let me ask you a question. Do you think Peter Obi and SOWORE, they are politicking in the same space? And do you understand what I mean by that?
Yes, I understand. They are actually on the same space. But
yes. SOWORE sees him as his direct competition. Atiku and TINUBU, they are not SOWORE's because they are not in the youth forward-thinking demography. But that is where Peter Obi is, and that is where SOWORE imagines himself to be.
Yeah, when SOWORE started his movement, he gained momentum amongst us in the diaspora. And in fact, I worked with him. We were trying to bring him here. At the last minute, he couldn't make it. You know, and we thought that was not properly managed. But let's leave that aside. Now, the momentum that SOWORE had was amongst people in the diaspora. The momentum was supposed to be for the youths and people who are not yet involved and who are slightly academic to come into the scene. But it didn't really peak in Nigeria for only God knows why. But that same momentum Obi started and it peaked right inside Nigeria. It started from Nigeria and it's coming to the diaspora. You know, people who are belonging to the SOWORE momentum are now falling into the Peter Obi momentum.
So can you not see then that SOWORE might somewhat think that Peter Obi is trying to steal his space? Can you see that?
No, but you see, if you are a competitor and if you want the best for the country, it's best that you stick to your campaign and let people know what they get from you instead of trying to pull down somebody, because it's now you are not selling akara, like so to say, but now we are trying to change the country, and the reason why you are in this race is to change the country. And if two of you want to change the country, you shouldn't be attacking yourself. No, don't get me wrong. Don't get me wrong. Peter Obi himself has a lot of blame, because I think, why is he going to Egypt today? Why is he not going to Egypt maybe when he has less busy schedule? If they are campaigning in Ekiti, you should be in Ekiti. So why must you rush to Egypt for a seminar that you can always go to another time? You know? But the criticism should not be coming from SOWORE. Then Aisha Yesufu likes this kind of thing. She starts off with you and then ends up criticizing you, and then you lost track of where she really stands. I think you should learn to manage your criticisms in a way that it doesn't spoil or take away from the ultimate goal. If the ultimate goal is to change Nigeria, people will make mistakes, but don't take it to mean that they have lost track, and then you start to criticize, and then your followers begin to see cracks, and then we don't get the ultimate goal. The ultimate goal is to get a person who is more amenable to the current tides in the world, global tides.
Xero, do you see the upcoming Ekiti election as somewhat a referendum on Peter Obi's popularity? That is not to say the Labour candidate is going to win the election, is not, or she is not, whoever it is. But the performance of that party will give us the first opportunity to test just what this Peter Obi phenomenon translates into.
What I will tell you is that it is too early to judge that. It's too early to judge that. For one, I didn't see Peter Obi's campaign in Ekiti, and I don't think 1 week to the day.
Oh, no, the candidate will be using Peter Obi's name, surely. I mean, it would be stupid not to.
Yeah, but again, another news came in that.
So Zero,
collapsed.
can I say this? Zero.
Yeah,
So
just before you say that, let me just remind you, a news came in that the Ekiti State Labour Party collapsed their structure
into APC. Yes. Yeah, we read that. I don't know the arrangement there. So yeah, that even adds more to why Peter Obi should be there.
Can I interject 1 minute?
Yes, do that.
Okay, so Zero, all you have been saying, you talk against SOWORE, you talk against Aisha Yesufu, you talk against everybody that criticizes Obi as people that so when a person like Obi, who is trying to lead us, trying to be our #1 citizen, so when he's doing wrong, so we should not criticize everybody that criticizes him. Is that, I mean, to some of you or those of you that are championing, you see that person as enemy of Nigeria, somebody that doesn't want to fall in line to do great things. I mean, listening to you now, it's just I just don't get it.
Okay, let me come in. Let me
don't get it.
let me explain further to you, Ajahn Kuku. Like I said, if you listen clearly to what I say, you understand my point. I said I have equal love for SOWORE as I have for Obi, and I believe in the two of them. Now, what I expect from SOWORE, because I must tell my candidates the truth, what I expect from him, and what I'm beginning to understand from a lot of people that criticize him, is that SOWORE should try to gain traction. You should push for your own agenda. And this is too early for you to be tracking somebody else's agenda. If Obi is running Labour
No,
Party,
they are competing for the same position. They are competing for the same position. They have to try to pull each other down. That is the way it works in politics. You have to pull your opponent, your competitor. You have to do everything to pull that person down so that you can have your way.
Well, that's why I say it's witch hunting.
Hold on, Exero. I think Victor wants to quickly insert something, and then we come back to you, Victor.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I was hoping. We cannot make it all about trying to pull your opponent down. Just sell yourself. Time has proven that it's a more potent way of campaigman.
But politics is a dirty game, though. Politics is a dirty game. There's no gentleman politics. It's not gentleman politics. It's only in the comic books, in the novels.
Yes, but still, time has shown also that people who talk both about their opponent and more talk to the issues get more of the people's concern, people's approval. Peter Obi has been talking about the issues. You can't find where he talks down on the other person.
Hold on, Ajahn Lekoko. Hold on, please. Sorry, land your point.
So how come he's now popular?
Victor, rather. Yeah, sorry, land your point, Victor.
Yeah, so what I was thinking is he should also concentrate more on telling, SOWORE should concentrate more on telling the people what he has for them and not trying to find who is a liar and who is telling the truth.
Yeah, but
can I say something back?
All right, but briefly, though, but I don't want us to hold this space too heavily. But
Look, Obi has done something wrong, traveling out of the country instead of building his party.
Can you guys let other people contribute?
Hold on, let me finish.
Yeah, hold on. You're coming in a moment.
Yeah, he has done wrong for traveling out instead of building the party, and this is what the criticism is about. And as a matter of fact, what he said he went to do over there, a report came out that he went for AGM meeting of a particular bank, which he is a member or an investor in that bank. So when he has done something wrong and criticism is coming against him, let us just, all this way that you guys sound too tribal, supporting your tribal man. This is the way he sound. And you want to be president of Nigeria and you don't want people to criticize him for doing wrong. It doesn't work like that.
All right, let's hear from Ife, and then we go back to Exero, who has the floor. Am I pronouncing your name right? Is it Ife?
Yeah, it's Ife.
Go on.
Yeah, hello.
Hold on, we're hearing ourselves back from you, so maybe mute that.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, but I can also hear myself in the background.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, we can hear you. Yeah, carry on.
Okay. Basically, yeah. I like what you're doing, one man. I'm just on break. I just saw this thing come up. Like the other man said, yeah. If you know you want to go for public office, you should make yourself available for criticism. If you cannot take criticism, quietly pack yourself and live in your private apartment. If Obi is going to Egypt to go and learn something in 3 days, for God's sake, you are in the middle of a campaign, you have traction. Can't you send somebody on your behalf to go and do that? Somebody you trust that could be your minister if you become a president, or your special advisor in that area, or even a video conferencing version of it. And you can even arrange a meeting with the owners of that particular event. We all live through lockdown. There are so many ways to do that. However, with regard to SOWORE's criticism, he is allowed to do that criticism. SOWORE reminds me of John the Baptist in the Bible and Jesus. John the Baptist was screaming, somebody is coming, somebody is coming. People were saying, who is this person that is coming? They don't know until Jesus came. I'm not saying Obi is the Messiah, but it hurt people like me that work with SOWORE when he first came out to see Obi just come in and take over that space. However,
sorry, Ife, that's exactly the fight, though, is it not?
Yeah, so, that is exactly the fight.
It considers that Obi is coming
let
to
me,
see this space.
one man, no one. Let me just finish here.
Yeah,
first, SOWORE started this campaign by going all over. He came to London here to see us. All over Europe to see all the youth. He went back. He went through all sorts of tribulation, even being locked down in Abuja. He has created that energy in the first place. But now, somebody just jumped on it, on that bandwagon. SOWORE is a catalyst to NSAS, whether you like it or not. For SOWORE to go from one state to the other to do that meeting, town hall meeting, it made people start believing, wait, these people are actually supposed to come and see us and not the other way around. And when the youth got angry, they expressed it. People like Nnamdi Kanu, even if he was outside of prison now, will also feel sad with what Obi is doing. Because these are the people that have galvanized the people to say, you know what, you deserve your right. Look at what they do now, he's in exile. All these people created the momentum that should have catalyzed SOWORE into the office. But now somebody that was part of the political establishment just jumped. And I'm an Igbo man. I don't have anything against Peter Obi, but I have a problem where somebody worked so hard to create an environment and somebody else just jump and take it over. And you don't expect the person to be, you don't just take it and just start smiling. However, on the contrary, what I would expect people like Peter Obi to do is to go, you know what? This environment was created by these people. Acknowledge them. It's called referencing. Acknowledge the contribution of those people to creating that awareness that you're benefiting from.
All right, well put. So I'll go back to you, Xero. You land on that space, and then I'll take that question round before I come back to you, because I think people might be keen to speak on it. But back to Xero.
Yes, I just have, sometimes when people say somebody created a space, they make it look like that space was only that person that can create it. At the time SOWORE came in, that space was there. At the time Obi came in, that space was there. It was the space that actually galvanized around them, not them. Because if another person had come out like SOWORE, people would not have come out for it. The same thing Peter Obi. So people are watching their credibility and character. And I just have one final word about this issue. SOWORE should not be fighting the gate man and miss the party. I love him so much. So that's just what I'm saying. This is not time for you to be fighting the policeman.
All right, brilliant. Well put. I'll take that question around Xero, because I think a lot of people want to comment on that space. But let me take it to Meadowman, who hopefully is with us. Meadowman, are you there? We always struggle to get you, Meadowman.
Good morning, woman.
Oh, brilliant. We have Meadowman today. So, yes, Meadowman, of course, there's only really, anytime Peter Obi is in play, it dominates the new space. So you say that reflects somewhat his popularity. But a lot of criticism around this trip to Egypt, this comparative study of equal weight countries that I said is gone to Egypt to do. So a lot of people are saying it is badly timed one, and then it shows a lack of level of unpreparedness too. So, and that criticism coming across the straight of the left of the divide, where his politics is, because he's a left of center politician, and the left of center voices are speaking in criticism of this trip is embarked upon. So I don't think anybody can really accuse Aisha Yesufu of being anti-Obi. Maybe they are denying you somewhat, but not really. You can understand that Peter Obi, SOWORE is battling him, but all of that criticism, saying that his politics should be in Ekiti state, where the first test of his newfound popularity is put to the ballot. So what are you then making then of this clap back against Peter Obi's trip, Meadowman?
Well, thank you for having me. Good morning to everybody on the panel. Well, to start with, I think it depends on the point of view, from standpoint. Now, those who are criticizing his trip to Egypt, they do have a point. Considering I didn't even know there was an election in Ekiti state election, where he should be, campaigning for LP candidate. That is important, and that is how you build the so-called structure. That is so important too. But not also that I think that him going to Egypt is wrong. Maybe not the best timing. I see why he would do that, or why any candidate, anybody aspiring to become the president of Nigeria would do that. I do understand that, but I also do understand the criticism. Now, going to the criticism from Aisha Yesufu and Deji and SOWORE, that is normal, and that goes to show his popularity. If there was any doubt that Peter Obi has gained a lot of traction, perhaps more than we in diaspora can even really perceive, this sort of criticism, the importance of Peter Obi is traveling to Egypt, and we all know about it. That tells me a lot. Now, I think Aisha is on point, and Peter Obi should, from now on, consider these things and those people that are now becoming his support base, especially Aisha Yesufu and Deji Adeyanju. They are now part of his support base. This sort of criticism should be taken in good faith. Now, to SOWORE, you see, I think Peter Obi is now living in what would have been SOWORE's paradise, SOWORE's dream paradise. So, I think somewhat his own criticism is somewhat cynical. I've always thought SOWORE was a nice guy. I never saw him as somebody that would be able to become, at least not for now, the president of Nigeria. Him saying that somebody is unprepared is funny, but I understand why he is targeting that candidate. That candidate is where he dreams to be. This moment of Peter Obi, I don't know about tomorrow, I don't know about 2 days to the election, or a day to the election, or election day. But right now, Peter Obi is sitting in SOWORE's dream paradise. And that is understandable. If SOWORE is focused on that, it's like trying to get back his base. But I don't know how that will work out.
I agree. Sorry, go on.
Yeah, you go on.
No, I was going to say I agree with you. In fact, it's pretty obvious that SOWORE feels that Peter Obi is stealing his boots, and he wants his boots back. This is the space that SOWORE has been laboring to occupy, and we have been waiting for him to occupy. But he never quite found the connection with the people to occupy that space. So as we imagine SOWORE would be, is how Peter Obi is now, and he says that as well. So I agree somewhat with that. But this penchant for making faux pas that Peter Obi has seems to be what might well be his Achilles heel and his eventual, hopefully not undoing. Because this trip that is embarked on in Egypt now, he could have sent a high-powered, impressive body of people to go and carry out that visit, amidst all pomp and pageantry to send them off, and then he goes to Ekiti State to go and fight that election. His party will not win, of course, but his popularity in terms of his presence there and how he makes a lot of noise for his candidates, how that then reflects in the doubling, quadrupling of the previous elections result will then tell us that yes, this guy has traction even outside of his core base. So that is another opportunity missed by Peter Obi, is what some people are suggesting.
Maybe that would have been an opportunity to test his popularity, but I don't think we know more than the politicians themselves. Maybe also he doesn't want to test that so-called popularity just yet, and not in a situation like this, because if he goes there and performs woefully, not because of himself, maybe because of the structure of the party or the candidate, it will all be on him. We start. We will start. If he goes there and the party comes out, performs poorly, we will all come back here to say, oh, Peter Obi went there and he did not do anything. He could not do anything, and it will be another point of criticism. And from now, I think these criticisms, they should come. There is nothing wrong with it. They should pound on him, because he has to create this thick skin if he wants to move on. And this is not the last of it. Sometimes he will get things right. People will still come.
It will get more vicious and a lot darker as the politics. It will get more vicious. So he has to weather the storm. Look at what it's after now. He wants the presidency of the 25th largest economy in the world. It's not going to be a walk in the park.
Yeah. So they should come, and he should create a thick skin for it. Him and his followers, those who believe in him, should also create a thick skin for such, because it will come. If he coughs in the public, they will say he coughed with his mouth open or whatever. Yeah. So from now onwards, this is what to expect. I don't expect anything different.
All right, brilliant. Well put. So I'm taking that question around Medoro, man. There's still plenty more to discuss. Stay with us. People delight in hearing from you, Medoro, man. But let me take that question to Ajanle Koko next, who has been chiming in, but now gets a fuller expression of that space. So Ajanle Koko, Peter Obi's trip to Egypt is what they say in contention. The criticism of it, some of it unfair, but then of course there's no such thing as unfair in politics. They want to hack you down because they want what you want, and so it gets dirtier and it gets murkier. But the criticism from SOWORE, somewhat understandable, because the space that Peter Obi the space that Peter Obi occupies within the Nigerian political landscape at the moment is the space that SOWORE has long been laboring for, and there's no equivocating that. We can't really go away from that, because he wants to occupy that left of center populist space that Peter Obi occupies now. So his criticism, you can see the political lilt of that. But the criticism from Aisha Yesufu, who is a supporter of Peter Obi, you cannot disregard that. And really, this trip to Egypt, a lot of people see it as a faux pas. How do you see it, Ajanle Koko?
You see, the criticism is normal. Anybody vying for public office must be open up for criticism, and must be ready for baggages from every quarter whatsoever in that country, because you want to lead the people. You want to lead the leading economy in Africa. So all this masquerade follower of Obi, all these people following Obi that are attacking SOWORE or attacking everybody that are criticizing Obi for his wrongdoing. I mean, they just don't understand politics. Obi, by all his action recently, from the beginning, from the time he moved out of PDP, the reason he gave for moving out, it just showed that that guy is a political masquerade. It just showed that he's a political magician. It just showed that is a person that lacks vision. So he's traveling to Egypt at 11 hours to say you want to go and understudy the this nonsense is talking about the electricity and banking and all these things. Does it not show to you as an evidence of unpreparedness of him for this job at 11 hours? So look, everybody, anybody whatsoever that want to lead us must be ready for criticism, must be ready for this. And those masquerade following, I mean, those supporters, people supporting him should be ready for this and not attacking people that are criticizing him. They're criticizing him for one purpose. They want him to do better. This is, I mean, your party, you don't have no structure around the country. You don't have no representative around the country from your party. Your party does not have any structure around the country. And Ekiti, election is on the way. Your party is not in place. You don't go to build your party, and then you are traveling out of the country, and you don't want people to criticize you. I mean, it doesn't work like that. You have to be a builder. If you want to be a leader of the country, you must be a builder. People must see that evidence that you are a builder, and that is what SOWORE has. This is what SOWORE has demonstrated to us, that he's a builder. He formed a party. He remained in that party. The government humiliated him. The government tried to hijack that party from him. He fought everything for Nigerian people. He's a sacrificial leader, he's a visionary leader, and he's a forthright, he's a purposeful leader. And this guy demonstrated it. Unlike Obi, when have you seen Obi fighting for you people? Has Obi ever come on the street or defend the right of Nigerian people? When have you ever seen him? Never. He's part of this political establishment, and you don't want us to criticize him. He invested in PDP heavily. He paid 40 million for his farm. That is an investment in corruption, in a corrupt party that have destroyed this country. And when some of us that are liberal-minded, we don't support this nonsense of tribal politics and tribal nonsense that all these followers are championing. We don't do that. And when you see people like us that are jumping to this and saying, okay, we need a visionary leader, we need a tribalized leader, and people will jump and say, oh, we don't love him, or they don't know what they are doing. Look, this guy is just one of these establishments. It's just one of them. It doesn't represent you, and you guys start to get it right. You start to x-ray this guy, criticize him, look into him very well before you have somebody like Buhari in place. This is the way some people package Buhari as a saint. Oh, he's coming. It's less. This thing is less. What do you call it? It's not corrupt. It's not this. It's the tribalized leader. Is this? What did you get in return? Worse off. Economy worse off. Insecurity, everything. The worst is what you got. So you see a person now that is wearing mask, a masquerade championing and masquerade follower following him, chanting the noise. You know, we got to criticize this guy. We got to check him right before he become our leader. Thank you, woman.
All right, brilliant. Well put. So just before I go on to the next contributor, just to implore the listeners, we want to hit 200 likes on this stream. So we need 200 likes. So if you have no reason not to hit on the like button, then you have every reason to hit on it. So hit on the like button to take us to 200 likes, because that propels the platform within the system. So hit on the like button, and as you are hitting on the like button, if you're not subscribed, hit on that as well, so that the next time I look, I see those figures going up. So do that as we hear from Pansat. It's just a short window. You heard the conversation, Pansat, the pros and cons for the Peter Obi's trip to Egypt. A lot of people somewhat feeling a faux pas on his part, but a lot of people feel that people are just latching onto everything. Your thoughts, Pansat?
Yeah, good morning, everybody. It's Pacific time zone over here, 6:51 in the morning. One man, I thought Victor wanted to go.
Oh yeah,
Before.
no, sorry. Yeah, I beg
Okay.
your pardon. Let me go to Victor. So yeah, thank you for doing that. Yeah, Victor, to you. Sorry, Victor. How can I even forget somebody as mighty as you? So Victor, yeah, let's hear from you. Victor. Oh, I think we've lost Victor. Victor.
Okay, he's probably gone then. I can go.
All right, go on. Yeah.
Thank you very much. It's the politics of Nigeria, our future. It's kinetic right now. It's hot, kinetic energy, and we thank God. At least we are all contributing and we are criticizing, like Ajan Lekeko said. And of course, constructive criticism is good. But let's think about it. What are we criticizing Peter Obi for? Obviously, we're reserving our major criticism to come, right? Hopefully, it's not this frivolous criticism. We have to let Peter Obi be Peter Obi. Peter Obi is not Pansat. Peter Obi is not Ajan Lekoko or one man. Usually, people who deliver positive stuff, they're a little bit selfish. That is one thing. If you notice in your family, those who uphold the conservative, those who try to maintain the family, and they did things the proper way, they're usually a little selfish. All right. He's probably not thinking expanding the polity of his party, things like that, like I would do. All right. So that's why, but this is silly criticism for Peter Obi. He is coming in the fore. He's smarter than everybody else that I've seen talking here, including myself. He knows what he's doing. Our major problem we have in Nigeria, when you rank him, among the top will be power supply. And let's say a rational person who's trying to make a decision, hey, do I go to Ekiti or do I go and figure out how Egypt achieved doubling of their power supply? A rational person may choose the latter. That, it's okay. Can somebody criticize him for that? Of course, you can criticize him for that. But there's one mistake we must not make, which is Obi supporters not taking to criticism very well. And then Obi himself, I don't think Obi has said, don't criticize me. Ajan Lekoko and I, we like SOWORE. SOWORE is not perfect. That's the reason why he's not galvanizing the type of support that Peter Obi is galvanizing. SOWORE came into the scene, he established Sahara Reporters, and he criticized looters, people who steal Nigerian resources, and he still is a valiant, courageous fighter for that. But in doing so, he made a lot of mistakes. He wanted us to believe that he couldn't tell the difference between Buhari and Jonathan. Now, if you really want to examine how sick you are in the head, think about that. At any moment, Jonathan is a Democrat, civilian, minority that found himself in power due to accident, by accident, like they say. And Buhari is a known known thug in the past that's been a head of state that they repackaged and brought back. SOWORE tried to confuse everybody like those two forces. He actually chose the latter. He's denying it, but I saw that because I'm his supporter. He was the first one to call the election for Buhari. He did. And because he had a big platform at the time, especially with the Western world. So when he made that call, that election hadn't been looked at to see if there is fraud in the way the votes were being counted. That's 2015. SOWORE could not tell the difference between Buhari and Jonathan. How could you not? APC and PDP, how could you not? You have to be dumb not to know the difference between the two, because it's even worse that you don't know. All right, so SOWORE is concentrated on looting and thieves. I personally was in contact with him in New York, and I was telling him our problem is not just corruption in Nigeria. There's a lot of killing. There's a lot of killing in Nigeria.
you have to look at. Now, I know it's the morning session, the time is slow, but SOWORE was going after women. For example, Dora Akunyili, who had cancer. Women in Nigeria are marginalized. So if the few of them that came to fore, they were probably corrupt, just like the men, you go after those women with heavy hand.
Pansat, we were looking more to the criticism of Peter Obi's trip to Egypt, the pros and cons of that.
Okay, that's right, because I consider that to be frivolous. That's why I treated it by saying, coming out here to talk about Peter Obi, you have to let Peter Obi be Peter Obi. If he wants to go to Egypt, I trust him. If he chose to go to Egypt, who are you to criticize him for that? We want to know, Peter Obi has to answer some questions, not criticism of silly stuff like that. You can't, why should he go to Ekiti over going to Egypt to know how they got their power double?
A lot of people feel that is where his political capital at this phase is best spent.
Right, but those people, you need to ask them, if you ask about the problem we have today, which one is bigger? Power supply or Ekiti politics?
Yeah, your Peter Obi has to be president before he's able to resolve whatever it is he intends to resolve.
That is true, but the way he's looking at it, he's already going to be president because the country is galvanized to change everything in that country, and that includes the political class.
All right.
There is a movement afoot, and we should email him. If this kind of stuff, strategy and all that, email him. It's not coming out where you've come here, you say you don't support Peter Obi. So what business is it of yours? For example, Ajahn Lekoko said that he doesn't want.
Who said he doesn't support Peter Obi?
Ajahn Lekoko.
No, he did not say that. He said he prefers SOWORE, which is different from not supporting Peter Obi.
Oh no! I'm trying to tell you that he doesn't want Peter Obi because before.
No, he can speak for himself. Okay. Just speak to the topic. Not
okay. Let me conclude.
Conclude because I have to get Victor before we lose him. Yeah.
Okay, sounds good. Okay, so my conclusion goes in this manner: anybody who has a strategic suggestion for Peter Obi, including making a decision like this, you just email him. Period. He's not going to be a saint. That's another thing. He's not going to be a saint. He's not going to be perfect. He's not going to be you. He's not going to be me. He doesn't have to tiptoe. He's going to have faults. He's going to make mistakes. But we've looked at the politics. We looked at everybody. We looked at what normally goes on. Because don't make that mistake of thinking that Peter Obi is going to be a saint for you. Whereas your guy is a midget. Your guy is full of faults.
No. All right. Thank you, Pansat. Let's go on to Victor. But before I come to you, Victor, let me acknowledge the super chat that has come in. It's to the conversation that is going on and the passion somewhat that was expressed by Ajahn Lekoko. Alexander Gomez, of course, the only person that uses that function. It says, Ajahn Lekoko, bro, you are getting overly agitated about SOWORE. You know he has zero chance of winning the presidency, but I appreciate your loyalty to his cause, though. So that is Alexander Gomez speaking truth to power. Ajahn Lekoko, bro, you are getting overly agitated about SOWORE. You know he has zero chance of winning the presidency, but I appreciate your loyalty to his cause. So thank you for the super chat, Alexander, as I go on to Victor to take his sounding. So Victor, you said you had to leave shortly and you couldn't leave, of course, before your fans hear from you. Victor, on mute.
Yeah, one man, good afternoon. I'm here.
Yeah.
So to the topic, it's just a few things I want to add. Peter Obi does not play the brand of politics that we are all used to. I've always said that. This same guy is so, I don't know, he knows what criticism is, and that's why he doesn't respond to them unless you make a constructive one. you know. So it will be somewhat not nice to judge him according to what we know as politics in Nigeria. He has proven that he's not that brand, and that's why he has this popularity. The mistake I think my big brother John Lekoko is making is that he's thinking that Peter Obi plays the same politics that everybody is used to. But time has proven that he doesn't play that kind of politics. He does what he thinks is best. And for the fact that he has a lot of followers for it, maybe we could just leave him to this and see how it goes. He has even already told you that he is not desperate to be president. The way I see things, I don't think he needs us the most. This should be a situation whereby all of us come together and do this together, you know. So I enjoin him, please. Don't get offended with Peter Obi. He is doing what he thinks is better. You cannot compare.
Victor, do you think it's an error for him not to be in Ekiti as we speak? As his
No,
party
it's not
is fighting. Yeah, go on.
Okay, no, it's not an error. All right, let me tell you this. Yeah, if I were him, I would not be there, because probably I've not had enough time to know exactly who the governorship aspirant is, you know. So if you are a man of integrity, you should also leave politics, leave that they are in the same party. You should also know who you're endorsing. Or do you just want to go and endorse anybody? Because don't you know these are the kind of things that kill people's credibility? So to me, if I were him, being that I've just joined Labour Party a month before now, I wouldn't want to neck deep involve myself in everything like that, you know.
What about the party loyalty argument? The party loyalty argument.
Did the party come out to tell you that they are angry with his move? That's the thing. We can't be crying for the bereaved. These people didn't tell you that he has failed any of their rules or something. This could be their own way, their own strategy. So we don't have to worry about this kind of. What we look at is, who is this person? I may even vote another person, and may even vote a different party for governorship elections and senatorial election, and then vote Peter Obi for the president. I vote people, I don't vote party. So, and I think Nigerians have come to that age where they know that you vote people and not party. So we that shouldn't be an issue to discuss, actually.
And to Sowore's criticism that going on a 3-day tour to study systems in Egypt shows a lack of preparedness. What would you say to that?
Why is Sowore not? Does he not have any meeting to go to? Does he not have any other thing to do? Look, the truth is, I am not against anybody criticizing, but I have also seen Sowore unprovoked just bad-mouthing Peter Obi, even lying himself. You know, even lying himself, because
why do you think he's doing that? Why do you think he's doing that?
We have already said, I see anger, I see venom, I see jealousy. I see that he thinks he should be in that position, but they are not given. Look, Sowore cannot be compared to Peter Obi. They are not in the same league in the first place. Sowore has not led any local government. All he was telling us is what he will do. Peter Obi is telling you what he has done and ready to do again. They can't be even put in the same plate. I don't know why this so like. Don't you know why he's not so popular? It's only Peter Obi that can come out and tell you, go and verify. What will we verify from Sowore apart from his character? So I don't want people always. This thing should be something of a synergy. If you even have actual love for this country, you mustn't be the president. You can support from the background. You can do other things. Everybody must not be president. So Sowore must not be president. So you cannot drag people down, because that is when it becomes selfishness. You cannot drag people down because you feel you should be in this position. That is actual selfishness. This country is not about one person.
What about
it's about
Victor? What about the politics is a dirty game argument? It gets dirty and it gets dark.
That is a saying. If someone wants to come and do clean politics, will you tell him no? Go out. It's a dirty thing.
Yeah,
No,
but
now that's why everybody brings their own brand.
All right. But
That's why he brings his own brand.
I'm just saying, Victor, to the Peter Obi space, that this, what Sowore is saying is going to be tame for what is to come, because it's going to they will call his character into question. They will call his honesty into question. They will call everything about him into question. They will make up lies, So it's going to get quite dark because the price, So this is just the beginning.
This guy has been the governor. He won the election. He another person was installed. He went to court for 3 years. He was being, every other stakeholder came to him. All right, allow this guy to finish. He said no. He should throw in the towel. He knows what these things are. He has been impeached 2 times. He knows these things. I don't think we should actually be looking at the big picture, man. If this country is better, somebody just said, middleman just said that if judging from the situation of the country, does it make more sense to go for Ekiti politics or to go find what to do to the country? As in these ones, I don't call them criticism. When you talk about maybe some other things about his maybe policies or so, that could be the criticism, but this one is not it.
Victor, I have to say that Peter Obi going to Egypt is somewhat a misstep, because his politics right now is in Ekiti state. So he's not president of Nigeria. So he shouldn't really be going on presidential type tours. It should be it should be on the ground, his sleeves pulled up, fighting for his party at their first, attempt at a position. So after him. So that's where his politics is. If he wants the thing in Egypt, he could have sent a powerful delegation, made a lot of noise about sending that delegation, and tell them that you go do that for me and get all the cameras to see them off at the airport, and then see him off to Ekiti, where he fights for every vote, which his party, of course, would not win, but would improve. And then he can take that improvement to say that, look, I am nationwide.
Why are we teaching this man our own politics? Why don't we want different?
Now.
No. Why don't we want different? You can't be speculating on something. You are just teaching him how to be just exactly what we want to flush out. This is where the confusion is. I've told you people from day one, this is my summary. This guy does a different type of politics. That's it. Whatever you're going to judge him by now is by what we already know and have. And that is not his brand. That's why it's actually hard for people. It's really unprecedented how he became popular just over a few months, Yeah, but that's also the gains of his brand of politics. So we can exempt him from our own brand and maybe see maybe his own is maybe what emulating in the long run. What I don't want is us trying to water down an effort that is being made, not considering. Man, this country is not the priority of most of us. That's what I've just come to understand. If it is, we should leave these things and focus on the real matters. You know?
Do you think it is right for us, for people to interrogate Peter Obi's methods and methodology or not? Do you think it's acceptable for people to interrogate both his methodologies, policies, etc.?
You are not trying to. You are not. This man has been a governor. Do you understand?
We should not question him.
No. So whatever questions you want to see, whatever questions you want to ask, is he already does his brand. Right. You question or you don't question.
I think that's very dangerous. So if we cannot probe at if we cannot poke and probe at a president, he wants to rule over us, but we cannot interrogate him. I think that's dangerous.
No, but he has always. Have you actually heard? Do you think he's the kind of person that doesn't come for a presidential debate or something?
No, not him personally, but his politics. So that's what we're doing here. We're interrogating him here. And which
Can I come in quickly?
No, you can't.
Yeah,
sorry.
please.
I'm doing the rounds. Sorry, Victor. I want to take it round in an orderly fashion. But
right.
We must be able to interrogate him. But come in, since you already let the gentleman come in. Is that Charles?
No, that's me.
Charles. Yeah.
Anyway,
Sorry, Meadow-man. Yeah.
Victor, I think he should be scrutinized, he should be interrogated, he should be criticized, and not every criticism is meant to be negative, it's meant to bring him down. That is one thing. And we should stop trying to present Peter Obi as a saint. He's not. He's a Nigerian, he's a politician. He's not. Let's try, if you want to promote him, you present him as he is. You know, you counter arguments with arguments. Now, having said that, I also wanted to add something I forgot to add initially. It is not fair to now brand any kind of counter argument on Peter Obi. Like if somebody criticizes him and another person comes to air their opinion on that issue, we just brand it as being tribal. That is not fair. It's not fair now, because if I've seen somebody that is not of the Igbo extraction come here to defend Peter Obi with passion, and he was branded tribal defender. That's not really it, because we have seen people in the days of Buhari defending him not being of his stock. We never branded them ethnic defenders. It is not fair now to anybody that comes out with the passion they have towards whatever they have seen in Peter Obi to defend him or to promote him. We tend to try to somehow brand it because of ethnicity or something. It doesn't have to be that way, and it is not necessarily always that way. Oh no, they are on the internet fighting and insulting everybody. I've not seen that yet. And we can separate the chaff from the grains if we really want to be fair. So that is what I wanted to add.
All right, thank you, Meadow-man. And by the way, people can interject, but what I'm trying to achieve now is for the main speaker to really have the space to have full expression, so that we know what they're talking about. Because often they chop the main speaker's narrative up in bits that they lose track of where they're going. So I'm trying to ease that off a little bit, so that whoever is speaking, however disagreeable what they're saying is, they get the expression so they can own their thoughts. So own your thoughts and land it, Victor, and then I'll go on to the next person.
All right. I think actually Nigeria should be more mature than this level of politics now. You know, we should. I want us to run an issue-based argument. You know, not that somebody traveled and because you expect him to be at different place. And I mean, if we step up this thing a little bit, it will be for the good of Nigeria. It's not just about Peter Obi, it's not about SOWORE, but let's step up this thing so that we we talk, we criticize and analyze situations coming from our priority list. That's it. Thank you, Roman.
Brilliant, well put. So you see, this is where we always really like to hear from Victor. Always articulate and always to the point. So before I go on to the next person, let me acknowledge the super chats that have been coming in. This one from AI Efficiency. It says, Obi has shown a red flag already. He doesn't need physical presence in Egypt in a globalized economy to understand Egyptians' electricity power model. So a lot of it, of course, is the publicity around the trip to signal the intent to say that he is already preparing himself to weigh against what he will encounter in Nigeria. But yes, like you said, and I also previously said, he doesn't necessarily, his presence is probably more impactful in Ekiti than in Egypt. But the publicity around the Egyptian narrative is what he wants to send to his following. Obi has shown a red flag already. He doesn't need to be physically present in Egypt in a globalized economy to understand Egyptian electric power model. So that is our AI efficiency joining the conversation via super chat. Alexander Gomez continues with his super chat, which is how he interacts with the session. He says, what he has done, not what he will do. A fantastic phrase, Victor. Quote of the season. Kudos. You are well educated. So, of course, we all know Victor. He rations himself, but anytime he comes here, it's always like a gem. So that's Victor. He says, what he has done, what he will do, which essentially separates the men from the boys. Fantastic phrase, Victor. Quote of the season. Kudos. You are well educated. So that is Alexander Gomez endorsing Victor. Quote of the session, he meant to say, because he goes on to correct that. I should have read it as intended, but not verbatim. But quote of the session, not of the season, as of course, Alexander Gomez. I think we got that anyway, Alexander. But AI efficiency comes back. He says, Obi and obedience simply says Obi and obedience. So I think this is now what they are tagging his followers. Obi and Peter Obi, that's PO, and obedience simply say Ekiti is unimportant. So that's AI efficiency, insisting that Peter Obi's political capital best spent in Ekiti, not Egypt. Peter Obi and obedience simply say Ekiti is not important, unimportant. So that's AI efficiency joining via super chat. So we go on from that and we go back into the room and we continue to sample opinion on that talking point. Let's go to Charles, a voice that we've not yet heard on the platform. Charles, you've heard the conversation, the pros and cons for Peter Obi's trip to Egypt. A lot of people feel that it's a faux pas. A lot of people feel it's a masterstroke. What do you feel, Charles?
Good afternoon. I'm speaking from UK. Anyway, concerning Obi, I don't see anything wrong if he goes anywhere. But then says charity begins at home. That's what I see there. Maybe he has his own way of playing his own politics. We don't know. So we shouldn't condemn whether he travel or he didn't travel. I know Peter Obi is gathering momentum now. It's on top of the 18 political party. It's on top as president. So what I see that Oshowore's plan is so strategic to go to counter those things. That will make you win an election. I don't like people taking paracetamol for the other person's headache. It's not fair. That's what I want to contribute to this cause.
Oh, all right, brilliant. Well put. Good to meet you, Charles. Stay with us just for as long as you can. Let's go on from you then, Charles. Let's go to InCBD. So InCBD, of course, one of the stalwarts of the platform. You've heard the conversation in CBD. What is your contribution?
Yeah, one man, can you hear me?
Perfectly.
Well, because I feel like there's a breakage, so I was thinking maybe my internet has a... So, but... let me just go ahead if I'm clear enough. But if I'm breaking, just tell me.
Yeah, carry on.
Yeah, so I think let me just put this thing in a very simple way. Uh, I don't. I think Obi going to Egypt. This is how the man has been going all his life. He said the other time he went to Bangladesh, went to Morocco, went to. So why is it this Egypt one now that is an issue? But this is how he is, and he was going all those trips. People are saying that he's not yet a president; he's going on a presidential kind of trip. But all those other trips that he embarked on, was he even in the presidential race then?
Yeah,
This is
but I'm sorry. In CBD, what people are accusing him of is not necessarily the trip, but the political energy being dispensed. So they are saying the political energy should be dispensed where it is at its most potent, which is in Ekiti State, and when it's not in Egypt, which is essentially just about the publicity of that trip.
Yeah, but the Ekiti State, if I'm not mistaken, I heard that they collapsed their structure into APC, something like that.
Exactly. So that
So
even
Peter,
makes the point.
yeah, that's what I'm saying. Peter Obi, number one, no, I don't think anybody is expecting him to go and resurrect Labour Party in Ekiti State. He can do that. He can try to do that, which is still something that should be that it will be commendable and well received. But he's not obligated to do that. And apart from that, the thing about this Peter Obi, he has always said several times that bring when Koko was speaking, people give bringing structure.
Oh, okay, you're breaking up somewhat now in CBD. You're breaking up somewhat.
The man have said it several. I'm breaking.
Well, you're back now. You're back now.
Oh, sorry. So he
Carry on.
has
You're,
said it
you're back
several
now.
times.
Carry on. Yeah.
Okay, yeah, he has said it several times that the structure is not looking at the same structure these ADP people are looking at. The structure is people direct. If you are intentional about change in the country, if you want things to work, come and vote for me. You don't need anybody to come and carry you from your house and direct you to somewhere or give you money. It is not. He said it that he's not even interested in those kind of voters because it means they don't know exactly. He doesn't want anybody that will be forced. He does his own politics. We may not like it, it may not be advisable, it's whatever, but that is how he plays his own politics. He's not playing it as usual, the way these other guys are doing, whereby they need to give people money and convince them and bribe them to go and vote. No, he's not doing that. If you want to support him, you have to be intentional about it. You have to know that you're doing it for your own self. You're doing it for the future, for your future, and for the future of your children. So that's nobody should criticize him for that. So and for someone like Sowore and sorry, what's the name? Aisha Yesufu and Deji. I disagree with you. Hello?
Yeah, we can hear you still, but barely. But carry on.
Yeah, I disagree with you when you say that those people you can't accuse them. These are people that are very close to with Sowore. So obviously they
Aisha
are on.
Yesufu has come. Sorry, Aisha Yesufu has actually come out for the for Peter Obi. So the Jordan Oju is the Jade, whatever his name is Peter Obi is Shore's right hand man. So we can say he's somewhat biased. Shore a candidate, so we see where his bias is. But Aisha Yesufu, you cannot really say that she's a Shore person. In fact, she's more a Peter Obi person than anything else.
Sorry, want restart my net, then please, I'm requesting you give me the chance to finish my thought when I come back in, please.
All right, brilliant. Thank you, Insebidi. So as Insebidi goes out to recalibrate his system, let me use the window to implore the people who are new to the platform. Thank you for joining us. We do this every single day, 9:35 p.m. UK time. So set that by your clock. The conversation is usually as intelligent as this, somewhat even not rowdy, but impassioned in often instances, especially in the evening sessions. You hear passion from grown-up adults. You even hear somebody banging, you hear people banging the table sometimes. So fervent are they in their thoughts. So it's a robust but intelligent and civilized conversational space. So if that is your diet, then come join us 9:35 p.m. UK time. And if you have no reason not to click on the like button, click on that like button because that helps propel the platform. It is others clicking on the like button that brought the platform to your attention. So if you do that, then you bring even more attention, more people to the attention of the platform. So that is how we work. So if you don't feel viscerally that it offends you to the core, then you have every reason to click on the like button. Even if you disagree, that is part of it because we're not here to cheerlead anybody, but we're not also here to throw stones at anybody. Facts and facts only. This is what we deal with here. So click on like and click on the subscribe button as we welcome Samuel Samuel Olaka to the conversation and take his contributions on that show space. But before you come in, Samuel, sorry, let me acknowledge Riverland's super chat, which says which of the candidates is in Ekiti right now. To point then that it's an unfair criticism to say that Peter Obi is not in Ekiti when really no one is in Ekiti. But then some people might say Peter Obi is the new bride that needs to show his purse, but he counters back to say that what you can see on the screen. Which of the candidates is in Ekiti now? Which is a fair comment to make. And Ben Office comes in with his super chat. So sorry, can you mute yourself until I come? Sorry, Samuel, mute yourself for a moment, and I'll come to you. Let me just clear up the super chat with Ben Office joining the conversation with the super chatter function. He says, this is a non-issue. Obi is new to the party. He does not know the candidates and peculiarities. Ajanle Koko is channeling Showore's jealousy. Don't say that Ajanle Koko will come for you. He doesn't take that very lightly. Ajanle Koko is channeling Showore's jealousy. No one here would have succeeded where he has. So no one here, I'm assuming, where Peter Obi is. So this is a non-issue. Obi is new to the party. He does not know the candidates and peculiarities. Ajanle Koko is channeling Showore's jealousy. No one here would have succeeded where Peter Obi, I am assuming, has. So thank you for the super chat, Ben Office. So that's Ben Office joining Alexander Gomez in the super chatting of the conversation. So Charles, back to you. Not Charles, but Samuel. Samuel, back to you. You've heard the conversation, so now share your thoughts. So Samuel Oloka, let's hear from you.
Okay, hello, good evening, everybody.
Good evening.
All right. I'm coming from the United Kingdom. All right, I've been listening to most of the discussions that have been going on over there. And I want to air my view on this matter as regards to Peter Obi going to Egypt or whether he should go to Ekiti. The truth is, I think it's time for Nigerians to know what they really want. What is your priority? And that is what Peter Obi is telling the politicians. For over 50 years, Nigeria as a country doesn't even have electricity, steady electricity. And there is an election going on in Ekiti state. And you want him to go to that election where those who are going there are spending your own money that they have been stealing to go out probably and elect some other person that will still come and steal your money. And somebody is showing you the right way to go about it. He's telling the country that what you need, telling you that coming into governance, coming into presidential office, it's a business, it's a serious business. And he's going to where he wants to learn how to uplift the country, help to salvage and solve a problem that have not been solved for years by the very same people you're supporting, who you claim are quite good politicians, politicians that's stealing your money, politicians that's taking your future into their pockets, politicians that are destroying almost everybody wanting to leave that country because of the way it is going. Most of us come out of the university, no job for how many years? and somebody is trying to show you that, look, politics is, let me go and look at how things are done in saner societies. Since the people who have been in politics for how many years have not done this, and somebody wants to do it, and you're more interested in a political problem that is taking place in Ekiti when he's just coming in recently into that political space and doesn't really know the personality of that character. He wants to go and
Samuel, could it not have done all these things that you described? And I agree, by the way, that electricity that has to be solved once and for all. But could it not have sent a delegate? He's not an engineer, you know. So
no.
So could it not have sent a senior delegate of the plethora of our professors, both in the East and all over the space, to send this under fanfare to say, this is what I'm doing, and then go to Ekiti to go and fight that, because he has to have the boots to carry out this job, to kick that ball. So he has to win the election first before he carries out all these grand, lofty things.
No, it's not. He should go himself, personally.
Right.
Because if you are a father and you know the pain of your children, any challenge that affects them, to show your love for them, you go and face that thing personally. Though you could say that this is a modern era, but he wants to go there to show you that, look, this is what we need. This is the challenge we are facing. He is showing you the value he places on that problem. The level of value.
Can I interject?
The value he places on that problem.
Come in, Exero. Sorry, I think Exero wants to interject. Yeah, Exero, come in. Yeah.
I want to just chime in. And one of the reasons why Peter Obi must have gone to Egypt was that recently it was revealed that the amount of money we spent all over these years and not being able to get electricity, Egypt spent half and got 57,000 megawatts. Go and check that out. So I think there's a reason why Obi went there.
The people who did that, they doubled Egypt's electricity output within 4 years. But the people who did that is the German company called Siemens, and they are already in Nigeria with the same plan. They were brought in by Abba Kyari, who was the then secretary to the federal government, or whatever his role was, before he died of COVID. So Siemens already in Nigeria. But back to you, Samuel.
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
Let me just make a quick comment on what
my time. I don't know. I believe we all have.
Let me just respond to what one man said. 1 quick second. Right. You know what you said is true. Even if Siemens is in Nigeria, but there are two parties to a contract. For example, what the contractor has to say, and then what the client state has to say. It's also important. Thank you.
All right. Carry on now, Samuel. Yeah.
Please, okay, they've taken a lot of my time. I hope you will consider the time they've taken.
No, carry on. You have the floor to land your point. Yeah.
Please, what I'm saying is Nigerians should know what is their priority, what is their problem. Do they want to change, or do they want to continue in that space that we have always been all these years? The same politicians doing nothing? No, we have to grow up and know what is priorities. The fact that somebody criticizes Obi is never against criticism, and Obi supporters are not against you criticizing them. What we are more interested in is the positivity he brings, the negativity he wants us to come out of. And all of us here want that same thing. You don't go to your home and you want to bring what is bad for your children. But we have politicians who are not father figures to us, but we want to say, oh, they play good politics. They know how to play good politics by bringing themselves back into the same system of corruption and bringing everybody. Look, everybody will be corrupt in Nigeria if we are not careful. We need people who are good and want to make the head good.
You do know that Peter Obi also stands accused of corruption. You know that.
Okay, if you say he's accused of corruption.
No. Do you know that though? Do you know that?
In the light of the politicians we have today, compared to Obi, he beats them far, far, far.
All right.
Is there any human being without an error? Is there any human being without some fault? But this man shows you that, look, Nigeria is a business. It's a service. I'm more about service delivery. Let me go and be in. My politics is all about showing you that I want to go and deliver service, and I want to come and bring it for you, for your good. I want to go to study what is good for you and give it to you. I'm not going to go and study who I'm to come to be in political power to lead you, rather than what is good for you. And Obi supporters are not against criticism, are not tribalizing it. Sometimes you people saying that Obi supporters are tribalizing, at criticism on Obi. No, you are the one trying to put the fact that those who
are you looking at the comment section?
it.
Are you looking at the comment section as you're saying that?
So that's wrong. You make it look like those that are in support of it are tribalizing attack on him. No, other politicians have been criticized before, and their supporters were also tribalizing the matter. So don't make this Obi's own case to look like it's just Obi's supporters that are making it look tribalistic. It has been like that. So please, that's my own opinion. I feel we need to get above these petty kind of politics. Other countries are talking about mature ideology, and we are making it look like going to Ekiti where we have serious issues.
Can you hear me, Samuel?
Yes.
All right. But just very, very briefly on this, because you've brought in the element of tribalism, and then that is part of the narrative. And a lot of people, they are derisively dismissing Peter Obi's narrative with a quiff that it is the Ipobians transmuting from the Biafran narrative into this now new space to a new champion. So are you detecting an element of Ipobianism in the Peter Obi narrative, or do you think that's somewhat an ethnic acerbic remark that they're just throwing just because it's easy to do?
Well, I just what I just said, that this is not the first time it has happened. There are people, when other politicians were on ground, they also tribalized it similarly. So making it look like Obi's case is a different matter is wrong. Though the supporters, I don't think they are even tribalizing. There are some, you will always get radicals. You will always get those that are on the far side of it. You can't take that out of it. You can't take those that will say, oh, take it tribalistic. You will get them. You have those that will get it on the same. You want everybody not to be tribalistic or some not. No, it's just like those. Some of us are arguing. Some will argue sanely. Some will argue wildly. So these things are part of the whole thing. The only thing you do is, well, minimize it, talk for it minimization, but don't use it to now characterize Obi's support base. No, you're using it to characterize Obi's support base generally. When it is that way, who can you tell? Are you telling me that those that support Buhari in his time did not take it tribalistically?
They are very tribal people. The people that support Buhari, they are very tribal people. The people that support
those that are supporting TINUBU, are they not also taking attack on TINUBU tribalistic?
They are extremely tribal. The people, the Buhari tribal, the Buhari supporters, they are ethnic fanatics. TINUBU's supporters,
so when you
TINUBU supporters, they are extremely tribal people. The only people that can say they support for is not really, it's tribal but not extreme tribalism. It's maybe Atiku. So, but TINUBU, Buhari, they are extremely tribal. But people are also saying that the Peter Obi narrative is centrally to the bulk of it Southeastern.
Can I answer that?
I disagree. It's not Southeastern. It's generalistic Nigerian, because why I say it's generalistically Nigerian, because are you telling me that the suffering in Nigeria is tribalistic? The suffering we are passing through in Nigeria, making everybody want to leave the space called Nigeria, making it look like it's not humans that are staying there, is it a tribalistic matter? This situation, the older people, everybody from every look and cranny of Nigeria desires a change, and that's what they find in Peter Obi. So it is not a matter of people are supporting Peter Obi not on a tribalistic basis, but on the light that he is showing that far goes beyond what we have in PDP and APC. Anyway, well, the truth is this: Nigerians define me. I'm not interested in what anybody wants to do. If you want to support the evil that has been killing you, it is your business. If you want to support the good that seems to be available right now, it is up to you. But I just know that, well, I want to support what I desire, what I want, so that tomorrow when I come out of it, I know that, look, this is what I stood for. And whatever you support is where you will lie. The bed you lay is the kind of bed you will lie. That's just my take.
All right, thank you. And finally, you are not obliged to answer this next question, so it's at your discretion if you answer it. But are you all for southeastern extraction? Are you from the
I don't
southeast?
think that's not the
All right.
matter. I don't think it's not the issue right now.
All right. It's only really to narrow down that point. But as I said, you are not under no obligation to answer that. So thank
Yeah,
you for that.
that's
Go on. Thank you for that very passionate and well articulated presentation, Samuel. Stay with us. Let me acknowledge the super chat from Play Summer, who seems to have discovered that button also. It says APC had a rally in Ekiti yesterday. So that is speaking to the space. Then I think that was in answer to a previous super chat that is saying which candidate is in APC right now. So it says APC had a rally yesterday, and I think he was responding to Riverland's super chat, which says which candidates are in Ekiti right now. So that adds to the information, but does not necessarily answer the question because it's asking essentially which frontline candidate is in APC, is in Ekiti rather. So APC can have their rally, and as I'm sure Labour Party would have some sort of a presence. But thank you for the super chat, Play Summer. So let's go from Play Summer as we now wear our helmets only for the big grammars coming. You know who he is. It's Aison. So Aison, you've heard the conversation.
One man. I said I was coming back now. Let me before I lose my chain of thought.
All right, you had a chain of thought. Look at this guy. So are you claiming that you think you say he has discovered the art of thinking? Let's hear it. Or see if he now thinks. Oh yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I'm sorry. My internet had restarted now, so I said I was coming back.
All right, to you then. See with it.
Yeah, I was saying. I said I don't agree that it's purely neutral when people like DJ Adeyanju or Aisha Yesufu and all those people, because those people, to be honest, they have been speaking more to the direction of the changes that we want in the country, but it doesn't mean that they are not also looking for relevance, and they are not, they say clout is a hell of a drug. So, and also, that's what I see most of them doing, and also, you cannot underestimate their ties with someone like Sowore. They've been, you remember Aisha Yesufu used to be in Abuja, even wearing that crossbody bag with Sowore at the background. All those people, they have all been together. So I'm not saying that she's a bad person. I'm also acknowledging that she has always been speaking truth to power. But it doesn't mean that we'll now neglect the fact that she is also a bit on the side of Sowore in some, or she wouldn't want to make herself look like she's totally against him. These people try to play double sides, somehow. So that's what I see. They are just double side, make Sowore happy, make his people happy, then also come and stand with the youth. That's what they are doing. They just try to balance their equation, and it's a little bit confusing for them also, seeing that Sowore is targeted. Demography is the youth, and that is where Peter Obi is also very strong. So somehow they just feel like any way they tilt towards is still in the youth space. So, but for someone like Sowore also, I feel like most of the things the man, I just feel like he did not, his message is his message and his past in terms of how he entered the political space in Nigeria. Number one is message. How did Peter Obi get to where he is right now? The man came out, he did not go and wear a youth logo and shout, I am for the youth. He did not jump on the street. It's just the messages he was putting out there, especially to the delegates when he was going around the whole country, talking to these people directly. That was when, if we are being honest, we will admit that that was when his popularity began to grow. The man will just go and talk to people in a room, maybe 6, 7, or even 10, whatever. And he gives them clear and precise messages that is being broadcasted. People organically just gravitated towards him. He never portrayed himself as any youth champion. He was not even talking about that. So why are we even trying to say that he insinuate that he wants to steal Sowore supporters? It doesn't make sense to me because it's just simple. The man
But do you not think that that is how Shore might somewhat see it? Because let me just add this in CBD. When Shore won his party primaries, which was a sham, of course, he was the only candidate. He stepped down from the chairman of the party and made himself the party candidate. So that one's a bit of a joke. But when he was making his acceptance speech, he spoke just for a microsecond about the victory and then launched frontally at Peter Obi and has been traversing the media spaces since, just throwing jibes at Peter Obi. So that suggests that he feels threatened by Peter Obi. So why does he feel threatened by Peter Obi? Because he essentially, by my own conclusion, which is not universal, of course, it's just my own thought, but he essentially thinks that Peter Obi is out to steal his boots. So Peter Obi out to steal his boots is how he sees it.
No, but you can think what that all that is playing out in his head. Peter Obi has never changed. I saw you also posted some, award he received in 2014. The man has never changed his style. He would rather sacrifice any platform, any party, than to change how he does his own thing. And that is the most attractive part of him. That is the most appealing part of him to people that are supporting him consciously, not people that are going by name. Because he has never changed. That is how he is. So Sowore can think whatever he's thinking in his head. If he applies that to reality, then he's not as smart as we thought he was. So I saw the other day they were interviewing him on Arise TV, Sowore, and they're asking him that, so all these things you said you've written, he said there's a website he's creating, there's all they asked him, so can you give us a brief? He's saying that no, that, he has to be careful so that the politicians will not take his idea. Can you imagine that? So all the things that Obi has been saying, is he hiding anything? He's making everything known. If people take your idea, everybody will know that this person have taken your idea. The problem is not that these politicians do not know what to do in most cases. It's because of they are extremely corrupt and they are not doing what they are supposed to do.
All right.
So himself needs to tell himself the truth and know that is the biggest setback of his own self. Is the biggest problem of his own self. And I don't understand when people start talking as if Sowore have no fault. He's coming to number one. Personally, my opinion about him is that his foundation. Anybody that attacked Jonathan that time, to be honest, the way they did, they all gathered, including some people in the media and everything. These are people that were all used by the opposition then. So he has laid that bad foundation for himself, including some of those other people that he attacked, who I don't want to mention his name so that we don't get into, mention their name so that we don't get into arguments. But we know that this man, how he faced Jonathan instead of facing the truth. So some people have that trust issue with him because of his past. And also he's supposed to direct issues to the people. Forget about, sometimes you just need to avoid attacking a lot of people and just go straight to the issue and tell people how you're going to do it. Then they will gravitate towards you the way people gravitate towards Obi organically. So, and all these things that sometimes people talk about tribal, I think it's just the detractors of Peter Obi that are insinuating all that, because it's very clear that the people supporting
you don't see a strong IPOB presence in the Peter Obi movement. You don't see that.
There's not even 1% of IPOB influence in that, because we all know how they feel about him. They've said it several times. They even, if anything, the insinuation that they're insinuating that he knows what happened to the IPOB members that were killed in Anambra is not something that will even give him a very low reputation with the Igbos. So we know that's what they are saying every time, that he should tell them what happened to those people, because it happened under his administration as Anambra governor. So that's why I'm saying that most of these things are just by his opposition, his detractors. Those are the people trying to put this narrative there to see if it will hold. But we are seeing it very clearly. I've been to several platforms. Most of the people that are in those on those platforms, that are even the owners of those channels, they are not even Igbos. So we cannot say what is something that we are seeing clear. This, it has nothing to do with tribe. People have resonated with the man. Anybody trying to make it tribal is just a detractor. It's just an hater to me, to be honest. So if we're talking about constructive criticism, Obi has never shied away from constructive criticism.
Do you find that the abundance of the people that are pushing the Peter Obi narrative on social media, they are essentially Southeastern?
Such as Doyin Okupe, right?
Doyin Okupe is a paid head now. It's a paid head.
He's a paid. How much can Obi pay him that
No,
will not pay
but it's a political jobber now. He used to work for Goodluck Jonathan. It's a hired brain. It's a
No,
hired
that's what
brain.
I'm saying. That if he's the kind of man that goes for money alone, as we are trying to paint him like this, how much will
No,
Obi pay
I
him
meant
that?
more on the social media space. The narrative on the social media, the Peter Obi narrative on the social media space.
Yeah, obviously
Who is propelling that the most?
we cannot deny the fact that majority of, or let's say most of the people, majority of, he will have a lot of support from his own region. That's obvious. He will, but we are telling you that it has not. You cannot put it in a general sense or in a general term that it's all an Eastern Igbo narrative, because it's not. It's simply not true, because we have seen even on that Instagram that people are doing all these campaigns. Go there, you will see that most of the people posting about this man, commenting on him, are not, many of them, let me not say most, many of them are not Igbos.
Yeah,
So
let's have one man tell us what.
Sorry, I do beg your pardon, but carry on in CBD.
Yeah. So many of them are not Igbos. To be honest with you, I feel like this thing is being tried. Some people are trying to put that narrative out there to see if it is going to stick, and it's not sticking. It can't work that way. Everybody knows. Nobody can accuse Obi of being a tribal man. Nobody.
All right.
So,
Thank you, CBD. So let's go on to. Sorry, I beg your pardon, Pansat, but it's the pressure of time. I don't want to elongate it longer than it needs to be. But let's go on to Ahizon now to delight in his thoughts. So Ahizon, to you. You've heard the conversation. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, one man. Thanks for having me on. Look, I think this thing it's really about subjectivity and semantics. It doesn't. If Peter Obi as a candidate decides to say, I want to go to Egypt to get firsthand knowledge and view of how the Egyptians were able to double power output while reducing the cost, he can do that. And I think in certain circles that actually improves his credibility, because it shows his seriousness in solving this, I guess for a lack of a better term, this immortal problem that Nigeria seems to have, this problem that they created a privatization scheme which turned out to be a black hole that was just eating up dollars every single month, and the problem was not resolved. This problem that is crippling the economy and the foundations of the very country. This problem that the giant of Africa cannot seem to provide electricity for its citizens in the 21st century. I'm sorry, one more, but in my opinion, that is more important than whatever is going on in Ekiti State. Because if he can create a formula that will successfully work in Nigeria to provide 24-hour power and solve majority of our problems, I can tell you this, majority of us abroad will not be here anymore. So it's all about how you look at things. And this is the problem, I mean, at the end of the day, you can't make everyone happy. Nigeria is what it is because of us, its citizens. You see a man going to Egypt to get information on how to solve an age-old problem, and you criticize him for not going to Ado Ekiti. I mean, something is seriously wrong with that perception. But in all fairness to them all, man, everyone is entitled to their criticism. Everyone can criticize him. Aisha Yesufu, she has come out and said she supports him. So her criticism, from the way I'm looking at it, maybe coming from a place of love, in the sense that you can't afford to lose a state like Ekiti. So maybe you should be focusing on this instead of going to Egypt. And that's fine. Sowore, on the other hand, I think he needs to focus on trying to get more supporters than trying to play the attack game at this point. The attack game doesn't suit him. At this point, honestly, he's better suited creating a platform for how to debate the issues facing the country using his party and his candidacy instead of trying to attack people. I mean, attacking someone like Peter Obi doesn't even suit him. There are things that I think there's enough stuff to attack in Nigerian politics right now, with the amount of money that was put out for registration forms, with the system in the way APC and PDP elected their candidates, with just a number of different things going on. This is like minnows compared to those things. So that's my thought process on that.
All right, well put, Aisha. So
can I interject 1 minute?
Yeah, come in, Ajande Koko, yeah.
To my brother Aisha.
Yes, sir.
So you don't see that what he did, you don't see wrong timing in what he did. You don't see him as not having people around him that he can send to go and study that system and bring him information that he can use. He cannot do everything by himself. He should be able to build people around him that he can trust, that can do the job as well. Because when he leads as a leader, he should be able to have people around him that he can delegate power, he can give responsibility to go and do that, people that he can trust, that can do the job well. So it's a wrong timing. He should be building the party right now. So his action to me seems a very selfish, and a position of a person that is not setting his priority right. And when you don't set your priority right at the party level, the same thing you're going to do when you get to the position of governance. You won't be able to set your priority right. So this time, it's not setting his priority right to send people to go and do something. He wants to do it alone. That is not the way it works. His action is like a person whose house is burning and he went to party, leaving his house, to be raised down. This is the same thing Shagari did in 1991.
All right, Ajale Koko, let Aisha address that. Aisha, address that briefly, and then after that, I'll take a 1 minute commentary from everyone else on all the other talking points, and I'll be strict with the time because we have passed the 2-hour mark already. But address what Ajale Koko, just a misjudgment, essentially, what Ajale Koko is saying. And also an indication of lack of a team around him if he doesn't have sufficient enough within his team to send a delegate to go and is he going to be going around studying everything by himself? This is the thing now. So many errors been identified from this Egyptian move, but the one Ajale Koko highlighted, Aisha.
Yeah, so Woman, I think the thing is this: if that's why I said is a function of semantics. If you can criticize the management style, fine. You can say, oh well, you didn't have to go. You kind of delegated people. But let me ask you this: if he was delegating people to get information on how Egypt managed its payment of loans or how Egypt manages its water system, I may understand that. But he understands as a governor, as a former governor, that is, that going there to get firsthand knowledge and interact with people based on the fact that they have solved a problem we have been unable to solve since our independence. You have to understand the importance of this issue. I get what Ajale Koko is saying, which I said, it's semantics. You say, okay, he should have stayed at home to fix this one state instead of going to get information. And maybe the timing of it, we don't have the details of how the timing of everything worked out. But he decided to take that trip to get information on power, how a fellow African country solved its power challenges, because he understands if he can solve the power challenges in that country, he has solved 90% of our problems. And that is why I'm not too critical of him going there to ask questions, to interact with the people, because you have to also remember the questions he will ask are not the questions his delegated people are going to ask. If they go there, what are those people going to say compared to him that is actually running for office? He was a governor, as an executive, the conversation will be totally different. So you have to give him that latitude, that room to say, look, okay, let's go with your job. And then the other point of, if he made this decision to go because of this thing that he thought was really important, therefore he's going to make poor judgments in office. How does that even correlate? You can take that same thinking to TINUBU and say, look, TINUBU championed Buhari into office. He championed the worst president in Nigeria's history.
TINUBU is a busted flush. TINUBU is a busted flush.
No, but one man, TINUBU is essentially, if you go by the history of how presidents have been elected in Nigeria, if you want to go by that metric, you can argue, you can say that TINUBU has a 50% chance of becoming the president based on what we've seen. And this is a man, he won his party, who's the ruling party right now. And this man made the largest blunder in the last decade by electing the man who is crowned as the worst president in our history. If you want to talk about judgment, that is the worst judgment possible, but yet people still support him. And I'm not critical of those people that support him. You can support him because there are things that you can point to about him and say, okay, these things are positive. So that's fine. So I'm saying that to do that with Peter Obi, to kind of project and say, oh, because he went to Egypt, then all of a sudden he's going to make bad decisions in office. Come on, man. That doesn't make a lot of sense. So that's what I have to say about that. Yeah.
All right. Hold on. Aizon wanted to add something. Not Aizon, Pansat wanted to add something to that. Pansat.
Okay, yeah, thank you very much. I really hope that Ajan Lekoko is still here to hear. I wanted to answer this question succinctly for him.
You must leave Ajan Lekoko alone. Just speak
no,
as because you always seem to go to Ajan Lekoko all the time.
No, this is direct question that he asked. For example, somebody like Abdel Fattah Sisi, who is a 67-year-old dictator in Egypt. If Peter Obi is going over there to get some information, Peter Obi be lucky that Mr. El Sisi is going to let him in to give him that information. You can't just send anybody to go to a dictator such as, let's say he's made the arrangement earlier, or this is the room that El Sisi has for him to come in, that he has to go. This is one of the most important issues of Nigerian problems, which is power. These guys, they solved it. They're only second to South Africa in power production. So Peter Obi went over there to get this information. I don't even know why we are dignifying it, but Ajan Lekoko being a reasonable person, I want him to know that you just can't send any delegation, even if it's OKOWA, to El Sisi, a 67-year-old dictator in Egypt. Unless you're going to see low-level people, which is the way we've always done it. We should commend them on this. Thank you.
All right, thank you for that. I want to start to round off. So I'll start to round off. But before I round off, let me acknowledge Riverland's super chat, which is still to the Peter Obi space. It says Obi traveled to 35 states campaigning during the primaries. Tell me one candidate that went to 15. I don't understand these expectations. So I think most of them traveled somewhat the entirety of the country. Obi traveled to 35 states campaigning during the primaries. Tell me one candidate that went to 15. I don't understand these expectations. So to whom much hope is vested, much is expected, is somewhat what is in play. So if Peter Obi is this new force, then we have to be sure this is what is going on. So gentlemen, I'll start to round off, but I'll do it differently. Usually in the afternoon session, I just shut it down, but there's so many topics that we've not yet addressed. So I'll read out the topics that has not been addressed, and I'm going to strictly a 1 minute slot for you just to either speak to that topic or anything else. But I have to be strict with the time because I have things that I have to attend to. So what we did not get to discuss was Buhari rejects pressure to impose running mate on TINUBU. So we did not get to address that. WIKE allegedly buys PDP panel members, others with $5 million, promises 10,000 per vote in 2023 elections to clinch vice tickets. So it looks as though then we were speaking of Peter Obi. We were speaking of TINUBU. We were speaking of rather OKOWA getting that space, but it looks as though it might well have gone to WIKE now. So just that 1 minute, we start it off with Aizon, and then we cascade from there. Aizon, I'm being strict with time this time around. Aizon, to you.
Definitely, yeah. The WIKE thing, so I've heard, is interesting. So, I personally think WIKE is a thug. So, Atiku picking WIKE, it may not work to his benefit, especially considering how the PDP delegates in some of those south and southeastern places didn't support him in the primaries that he was complaining about. So I'm not sure if WIKE can mobilize people enough to support Atiku in the general election, especially with someone like Peter Obi running in the southeast. He might be able to get some of those south states, especially Bayelsa, maybe Delta, but I don't know what man we'll see. But WIKE, I'm not a big fan of him being the VP for Atiku.
Brilliant. Thank you, Aizon. Join us again. So just before I go on to the next person, so thank you, Aizon. So before I go on to the next person, it's just a call out again to the listeners. So we do this every single day, twice a day often, but guaranteed 9:35 p.m. UK time. You can set your watch by it. And if this is this sort of like a balanced sort of a conversation is your taste, then this is the space to come to for that. So we're not doing cheerleading here, but we're deconstructing and constructing back based on facts as we know them. So if that is your diet, then this is the restaurant. I don't know how that metaphor came about, but I just open my mouth and the words come out sometimes. So click on the like button, of course. Make sure you do that. We want to hit 200 likes before the end of this session. So if it doesn't offend you to click on the like button, then click on it just to at least acknowledge the conversations that you have been having. And as you're clicking on the like button, click on the subscribe button as well, and make yourself available for 9:35 p.m. UK time, when the conversation is a lot more expansive. We spend about 5 hours thereabout on average, so people get the chance to expand more as we hear parting words. Very strict time slot, X0, your words. X0.
Yes, I'm on here.
So it's just a short window, a very short window.
Yeah, I had the talk on WIKE being VPs to Atiku. I don't think Atiku secretly, wants somebody like WIKE. Nobody wants a talkative, a very strong VP. Everyone wants an Osimbajo type of VP, quiet and let the president do the talking. I think if WIKE becomes the VP, he's going to fight with Atiku halfway through. So that is a gunner. Then Buhari not interfering in TINUBU's choosing of the VP. Well, I think it's high time we stop contributing to these corrupt people and how they choose their VPs. I don't care who he chooses. I see all of them as corrupt. The main topic of the day, you have hit it and you hit it well, is Obi going to Egypt. And I'm very happy I'm in this platform to discuss it. I just like to advise Janle Koko, please. I know that there's something you see that maybe we don't see, and maybe the words are not coming out the way you want to express them. We'll take the criticism, but please don't lump us all and gaslight us as Peter Obi supporters that don't want to see reason. No. That is the mistake they made when they shot the NSAS people, protesters. They said they are IPOBians, and they shot the people who want to change Nigeria. I hope you understand this.
All right. All right. Thank you, Xero. You were somewhat dipping out at the end, but I think we got the gist of what you intended. So that was Xero. We go on from Xero. We go to Insibidi. It's a very, very short window. I don't want to have to call time on anybody, so please just help me out. Just either the new topics or just thought Insibidi.
Yeah, thank you. Let me go to the most important topic that I think. So, I have just a short message for the supporters of whoever they are supporting. You see, everybody have the right to support who they want to support, but please do not come and what I see mostly is just gaslighting and hypocrisy. Because we're here, some people were here when we were debating TINUBU, some people are saying that he made a very good move. And this is the man that never went to any place in the East. But we all clapped for him that he made a good political move. But now we are trying to crucify, some people are trying to crucify Obi for not going to Ekiti, where they have collapsed the structure of his party there. So my point is that let's avoid this hypocrisy and let us, if you don't like someone, come out, say it directly. This is how we do things. That, oh, I'm not in support of this person. But don't try to go through the corners and try to gaslight people and try to, to claim that you're doing things that we are obviously saying that is just based on hate and whatever.
No, you can't say that. It's not based on
hate. Hate might be a strong word.
People are entitled to their opinions.
People are entitled, but don't gaslight us, and also don't be a hypocrite because you cannot expect.
No, you can't say that either. No, you just say as you feel. Don't attack people now. You know better.
I didn't mention any single person name here. One man. I said I'm talking to the general.
You know, the only reason why I'm pushing back against you is that if you are doing that as a strategy, then it will restrict people from freely expressing their thoughts because they don't want to be got at. So we want to create a space for free expression. That's what we're trying to do.
Let me finish by saying this.
Just a couple seconds more. Yeah.
Okay.
I have to go do something. That's just it.
Let me finish by saying this.
Yeah.
You see, a free speech is not only on one side. Let us all be free. If you are free to criticize, expect other people to be free to counter your criticism. This is how it's done all over the world. So not when you criticize us and we counter it and you say, why are we countering what you're saying? You know, this is how it is all over the world, including America. You see the Democrats will come and throw their things. The Republicans will come and throw their things.
All right, I knew you'll be the one that I'll have to, but I'll come back later and then we'll carry on. So you're free to criticize, of course, but not the man. So play the ball, not the man. Of course, anybody says something, you counter it, but play the ball, not the man. A very, very short window. Samuel, you know that I have to rush off in a bit, but I'm just giving the opportunity then to speak on other topics. So if you have any thoughts on those, Samuel, the floor is yours.
All right, thank you. Okay. As regards to WIKE's choice of, I just feel it's a combination of two bad eggs. One, I don't really know. In WIKE's campaign, I never saw him campaign on what he actually did for his people in Rivers State. I just feel he's just using the Rivers State money for his own political ambition, which is a problem that we are trying to fight in Nigeria. And also Atiku, I don't know if Obasanjo could come out and say that, look, I can't support this man for any reason. God himself will not forgive me if it shows that this man is dangerous. And Nigeria wants to go for such double combination, double problem. No. TINUBU packeted, I don't know. Sorry, not that. Let's forget about it. But what I'm saying is, I don't know. Let's just vote something that's not going to come and take our public funds and make them their own private property and destroy. I don't care about the economy. So WIKE, I don't think he's really him and Atiku. I don't really think that combination is good because if Obasanjo, who knows what he is, if he doesn't want to make the mistake he made again in Jonathan's time when you saw the good thing and you went against it, then Now
All
they
right,
have said again.
I must stop you. I did say a short window, but thank you. I think we get
All right.
the gist of what you're saying. But Pansat, I don't want to have to stop you, but it's just a short little slot. I'm not pushing, but I have to go do something else in a moment. So please, just a short words on either the new topics or a final thought on the old one. But please condense it.
Thank you very much, and we can't blame you. You spend a couple of sessions a day, so when you have to go do something, we have to respect that. I have 5 short points that I want to pack in for you here, but more than anything, I want you to stop me whenever you think you have sufficient time to answer a question I have for you, because it's not fair for you not to be able to also speak your mind on this. The question I have for you at the end of my 5 points is this: what is it that IPOBians are saying in their support of P2B that you disagree with? I want you to make it very clear. And do you acknowledge that IPOBians are Nigerians who are agitating, and they have the right to agitate, but until they're given freedom, they are Nigerians who can join in making the country good. I also want you to know that what's his name there? The guy that replacing Nnamdi Kanu has invited P2B and is giving him a week to show up. Now, let me just say that quality is defined as a standard of something when measured against other things. So we have to measure P2B against those who are in the field right now. So that would be the aesthetic appeal, obviously, when we come to tribes and all that, and the emotional symbolism that's involved. I wanted to touch on the other issues, but I'll wait till this afternoon. I know you have something to do for later, but please keep doing what you're doing twice a day. When you can let me in, let me in. When you don't, when I'm too much to hit for you, you could kick me out. And the usual disrespect, but I still like your platform and everybody else. Thank you very much. Thank you, Ajanle Koko.
All right, thank you.
Thank you, Pansat.
Thank you, Pansat. So just to what Pansat was saying, I'm not quite sure how he phrased it, but let me answer it how I understood it. So there's nothing wrong with the IPOBians suddenly transmuting into Peter Obi now. But then, so that means then there's another savior now. So a new song has to come out. But it's the inherent hypocrisy in it somewhat that we must not miss. Because for years and years and years and years and years, the IPOBians, they had no other mantra than to tell us that the southeastern part must secede and take along with them all the spaces that were to rappers. Anybody that hold a contrary view, they beat him up, they stone at him, they abuse him, they abuse his family and his heritage. It was vicious, it was visceral, and it was viral, relentless. On Biafra we stand, Biafra we die. So that same movement, that's very, some people describe it as toxic, but I'm not going to use that word. But I would say highly energized, but aggressive, I will say, very aggressive movement. They've now, without even pause for thought, transmuted from Biafra we stand to Peter Obi must be president. President of which country? Because you said you don't acknowledge Nigeria. You said that Nigeria was formed outside of your agreement, and you say that on that you stand till death. And without pause for breath, just the inherent, the inconsistency is one thing, but the inherent, there's a 360 turn. So that's just, we must acknowledge that. And a lot of those voices, they come to this platform oftentimes. Now, the amount of abuse that I've gotten, I've had my mother insulted on this platform by that same movement. I haven't the button to kick them off, but because I believe in free speech, I let people speak freely. All of my panelists and guests, they've been insulted by that viciousness of that platform, who insisted that the space, I'm from Oyoalafi, a Yoruba man, that cowards were useless, we're Fulani slaves, etc., because we are not joining in the balkanization of the country. They're just so categorical. And then from that, they are now wanting to be president of the country without pausing for breath, without acknowledging the turnaround complete. So it's just, so it's somewhat flaky. But then I've always been of the thought that that IPOBIA movement that was created by Nnamdi Kanu is something that if they are able to politicize it, it has more potency than just agitation. So I don't disapprove. In fact, this is what I have always advocated for the IPOB energy to transmute into mainstream politics. But it has transmuted now, but it's done that seamlessly without acknowledging the pivoting of positioning from one extreme to another. That is the inherent hypocrisy that somewhat tickles. But Ajanle Koko, I have to rush off fairly shortly. But then, of course, you always have the final word, and people will throw stones at me if you don't. So Ajanle Koko, just a word or two. Yes.
One man.
Yeah.
Thank you. On the this River State governor bribing people or nominating for vice president. It's time for politics. His opponent in the race could be throwing this out just to, ridicule his image. But we have to wait for the vice president. For Atiku. He knows better. He knows who he wants, and he will pick the right candidate. Vice president that can work good with him. That's by the wayside. So, but on the issue of Peter Obi, describing as a political magician, political chameleon, and political political magician. So, but before I go, let me sing you a song. This thing will happen for our country. Now be big thing, first time in the whole world. If you hear the name, you go know. Obina magic. Tell me the name now. Obina magic. I'm go dabaru everything. Obina magic. Him go turn the red into blue. Obina magic. Him go turn the blue into red. Obina magic. What are they go? What are they come? Obina magic. Him go turn electric to Gandu. Obina magic. He me turn electric to Kandu. Obina magic. Obi magic. Yes, Obina magic. So I want you to know Obi is a political magician, he's a political chameleon, and it's a political masquerade. A lot of people following him are people that transmuted from IPOB. They have abandoned Nnamdi Kanu now. They are following Obi, but we have EPA attacking them for double standard, for not knowing what they are doing. So let's think of that. It's part of the establishment, part of the political corrupt system. He cannot come out. He cannot lead us. We will question his judgment. We will question him all the time. So let's do the right thing in Nigeria. SOWORE is the man. Follow him. He has fought for you all the way. Thank you, one man. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you, Ajanle Koko. So that's been the session. A lot longer than I would traditionally have it be, but it was an A-list field of panelists, and there were some new voices as well. And the topic so hot that I just had to let it ride. And I'm glad I did, because it's been another banger of a session. So if you like this sort of banger sessions, then as I said, 9:35 p.m. UK time, we'll reconvene to carry on as we were. So we carry on as we were for 9:35 p.m. UK time, but we end this session now, but still the conversation carries on in the comment section. So make sure you've thumbed up the stream for the efforts that's been put in, especially by the panelists, to share thoughts with you. So reward that with a like. And if you're not already subscribed to them, make sure you do that. So having fulfilled all righteousness, come join me in the comment section to carry on the conversation there because the conversation never stops. But I'll leave it here. Carry conversation on within comment section. But here I say peace.